these things, the results will make themselves obvious to you. While it may sound like a magical notion, it is in you to create your own future. The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. As Ralph Waldo Emerson declared, a man is what he thinks about all day long.
A man is what he thinks about all day long. What's up, everybody? Let me make sure you guys can see my awesome glasses, and I'll make sure the lighting is better. I've been changing my desktop environment recently, so you guys can see now my sexy glasses. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Ready for another day, another awesome day of hacking and streaming. Just making sure you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up, say hi, yes, something, blah blah blah. It'll be very helpful if you guys can do that. If you guys can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up, say hi, yeah. Shriram, what's up, bro? Jai Shriram, what's up? How you doing, brother? Oh, thank you so much. Because of the lights, I actually, honest with you, because so you guys can see the light, I have to wear this, so it's very hard with the normal glasses. Thank you so much. Okay, are you ready? This is actually an interesting one. You're joining at a very interesting time because the things you will learn are things you can actually implement after the stream. It's not like going to be hard like the last one in which we are doing some challenge. This one, I'm doing good too, man. Thank you so much. Thank you. But as I was saying, right, this one is actually interesting because all the things I am going to do today, you will be able to implement in your world, right? You will be able to, and I will help you with that. Moreover, today will be interesting because issue like you guys saw last time, there are too many commands to remember, too many tools to remember. So I'm going to show a video, and we are going to together create a better way of taking notes, because recently, from almost like a week, even during my Discord, if you go up, I was asking people what is a better way to take notes, and I was looking online, right? And this guy came up with the idea to create a second brain using a particular theory, and he read a book called Taking Better Notes, and there's a particular system, a format given. Why it is beautiful, and I think I want to show it to everyone and do it with everyone, because the beauty about that part was that a person specifically is able to create notes so that, you know, let's say if I learn notes from psychology, I learn from some particular subject, it won't be constrained to that particular folder. It can be related to, let's say, cybersecurity, to social engineering, all the things I learned in social engineering or money-wise. That could be related through graphs, and it's amazing, and it won't be constrained to a particular folder. So hopefully you guys like that video too. But right now, first we are going to do this one, and I'm just going to share my screen in a sec here. Okay, let me know once you are able to see my screen. You guys can see the Kali, you guys can see everything, right? Everything is visible. And just in case if anybody is wondering, this is one of my motivational things I listen to, which is very interesting because this gives me a kind of reality check that you don't have to be smarter than anyone. You don't have to be like there are so many cliches about like real world, about like, oh, this person became successful because of this reason, that reason. Only one reason: the secret sauce is persistent. Keep going every day, show up. And that's why I like playing that sometimes. But now that we are here, I'm going to share this room. You guys, I don't know if it's a free room. I don't think so. It's a free room. I don't think it's a premium room. It's a free one. So you guys can go create your account on TryHackMe. Have you guys created your account on TryHackMe yet? Is it there? Because today what you will learn, right, is related to able to search things. Earlier we talked about how to use Google, Bing, or whatever search engine you use better with like some extra special things, right? And there are some specialized search engines like Shodan to able to see all the internet devices. Today we are going to talk about vulnerabilities. Oh, awesome. Then have a login and start this room. I sent the link. Go join that room, right? Probably here will be a green button. And let's start. Let me know when you guys are ready. Ready, steady, go. Right? And today I had my coffee. Not going to lie. I tried to lower my caffeine intake, but I realized if I'm doing streaming for like 2-3 hours at late night after like 8 hours or 9 hours of work, I need to have some extra caffeine and a bunch of cold water. Okay, hopefully you guys are ready. Okay, so let's start with task 5, vulnerabilities and exploits, and with the search skills. CVE. For people who don't know, common vulnerabilities and exposures. What CVE is, right? There are good hackers and there are bad hackers in the world, right? Just like any skill, there are good people, bad people. Good hackers, right? Sometimes they find flaws or bugs in big tech company related softwares like Google Chrome, Google.com, Tesla, those type of big products, whether it's a computer, whether it's like a software or a car itself. But there are a lot of hackers who just want to hack, and if you hack those big companies, you get a reward. It's called bug bounty. But if you hack, like, let's say, open source software, find bugs there, or organizations which are not for profit, you won't get money from them, right? But you do get recognition all around the world, which is a very beautiful thing. But where do you submit, right? Where is the place to submit? You submit in National Vulnerability Database, NVD, which is maintained by National Institute of Science and Technology under US government, right? And there you have like this a whole disclosure system and stuff, and there you will find CVEs. CVE is a particular vulnerability you found. A whole database, you found a particular vulnerability, that's called CVE. It's a whole, we can think of CVE, right, Common Vulnerabilities and Exposures Program, as a dictionary of vulnerabilities, right, a database of vulnerabilities. It provides a standardized identifier for vulnerabilities and security issues in software and hardware products. And it can be like you can even submit these like Google Chrome ones also here to get a name out. Each vulnerability is assigned a CVE ID with a standardized format like CVE 2024 and a number, right? So now it's important to understand this too, right? This unique identifier, CVE ID, ensures that everyone from security researchers to vendors and IT professionals is referring to the same vulnerability, CVE 2024-29988. Why it is important? Because let's say I found a vulnerability and I'm trying to fix one. Like let's say I work in Google, I'm trying to fix one. It's possibility that I might, like somebody else might think I'm solving a different one, but no. Because let's say SQL injection, there might be 3 vulnerabilities. 3 different vulnerabilities related to SQL injection in Google.com. And I'm specifically fixing this one. Whatever this one is. Smart screen prompt security bypass vulnerability, right? So it's good to know that. Next, MITRE Corporation. MITRE is it's an organization which is all about advanced tech related like vulnerability techniques, adversary techniques. A way bigger thing than or a way big name, another big name in cybersecurity, and you will learn a lot if you go to MITRE stuff. They also have a lot of I think they have like scholarships. So if you are going into college, you might be able to get some scholarship from here. So you will find a lot of information about MITRE attack. It's hard to go within one place, but an organization which will have techniques, information about various attacks, how to defend yourself, a bunch of information, a bunch of good information, really good information. So MITRE Corporation maintains the CVE system. US government funds it. So Department of Homeland Security. For more information to search for existing CVEs, visit the CVE program website. Let me drop that link for you. Oh, I can just do it here. Sorry, getting used to of two screens. And I will send you the MITRE one as well. So if it's easy, you can just type MITRE Corporation, the first link, the mitre.org. No, wait, is it this one? Yeah, this one. So it has a lot more information. You want to go on MITRE attack most specifically to get cybersecurity related information. Alternatively, visit National Vulnerability Database website, which we did. The screenshot below shows CVE 2014-0160 called the Heartbleed. Now, important to note, the first part of CVEs is the year in which they were found. So 2014, this was found in 2014, and this is the number in sequence, however they give. This one was found in 2024. So if you see a number, at least you will be able to know when this vulnerability was found, so you can tell more about it. So if something was found in, let's say, 2001, might not be that useful if I'm hacking a system or I'm trying to defend a system today. But if I found something in 2023, way more relatable. Hopefully that makes sense. This is about Heartbleed. Just to give you information, right? Nothing much about this picture. Exploit database. This is what you will use a lot. What exploit database is, let's say if I open my Kali, right? You will see something very interesting. I don't know if you saw last time. When you open Firefox, one of the bookmarks which is already by Kali is exploit DB, exploit database, right? Let's read what this is. There are many reasons why you would want to exploit a vulnerable application. One would be assessing a company's security as part of its red team. So doing a pen test, a legal pen test. Needless to say, we should not try to exploit a vulnerable system unless we are given permission via a legal binding agreement. Do not by talk, a proper agreement written. Make sure you do that. Now that we have a permission to exploit a vulnerable system, we might need to find a working exploit code. One resource is the exploit database. The exploit database lists exploit codes from various authors. Some of these exploits are tested and marked as verified. So let me go here, give you guys this link. So it's important to save these links for your future. So you can even go right after the stream. So you see here, V is for verified. Download the exploit, date when it came out. And when you, let's say I want to go for a verified one, let's go on third page. So this is verified, Ingress, Nginx. So I will go on this specific one. A lot of time the CVE is also mentioned. So you can go click here, it will open National Vulnerability site and you will get more information about it. Just an example, you get author, right? This is where it shines because if I get my name here, I can put it in my resume. Rabbit, what's up? I'm doing good, man. Had my coffee recently, so I'm very much better. Because I started realizing I need more caffeine. I can't stay away from caffeine. If I have to do a lot more, especially at night time, I have to do caffeine. How you are doing? How's everything? And this is also I will post to everyone so they can like have a look. And you know, like you can link, go to this author's link, get some more information, what they did and past. And it's a very good thing to do, right? Because you can put it in your resume for a cybersecurity, what's this called? When you are going for a cybersecurity job. I did something similar. I did with Stack Overflow. I was applying for like a front-end engineer and I got the job. One of the things they talked about was like one of the questions I solved on here. I think my name here was OSD. I'll show you guys interesting. Is my name here same? No. Let me change. But I wanted people to go here. No, can't find it. I have so many names, I don't remember. But it was basically about a couple of React related questions I solved. And that was a good thing to talk about during my interview. And then that gives people an answer why I'm doing it, what I'm doing. I'm good. I transferred all my notes to Cherry Tree. Oh, nice. Notion was too gibberish for the OSCP notes. Yeah, I can understand because Notion has a lot of what's this called? How to say limits, right? But that's the good part, right? Today, we will watch a half an hour video after this one, so we can create notes for everything, and hopefully you like it for your OSCP and anybody is going for future stuff. So hopefully we'll do that for sure. And that's why I had coffee today. I was like, I have to go for a longer one. I have to catch up based on yesterday. Yes, sir. I love that. I love when people say that. Yes, sir. I don't know where I got it from. I love saying it too. Okay. Next one is GitHub. So GitHub is somewhere everybody need to go and learn. One of my things I recently did was like regarding lead code, just mentioning other people, okay, how to make a good lead code related. I was helping somebody, right, basically in Discord to see and show how to create a good lead code related repository. But this is a developer's best friend. The more green you have, the better to show in your resume. Version control, yeah, that's right. So people who don't understand what version control is, let me give a very beautiful example. So you might have seen, let's say, games. Let's talk about games, right? GTA. Everybody know this game, right? Grand Theft Auto. We are waiting for the 6th one to come. 5th one came like a decade ago. So let's think about in a GTA perspective. This is a timeline. GTA, let's say Vice City came here, right, in 2001. Let's say, I don't remember the date, so sorry about that. San Andreas came in 2000, let's say 5. GTA 3 came up in like 2007. GTA 4 came out in 2009. And 5, I might have missed Liberty City and stuff, but let's say, like, there are 4 games, right? 4, and this one will be 5, GTA 5, 2011. Let's say these came, right? These were the dates they came. These are all different games, but let's say we are talking about one game which has these many versions. Now, I want to go back, or like same you can think of example with Windows, but like let's say this one, right? Now, currently I'm on version 5 of this app. I want to go on number 3. How I can do? By using a software like Git. GitHub, remember, GitHub is a platform. Git is the actual software behind it. That's why you see GitLab. GitLab is a thing. There is GitLab, there is GitHub. Right? I can't use a different word with hub, but you guys get the idea, right? So basically that's what this is. Like, Git is to help you control the version. So with just 1 or 2 commands, I can go to version 3. Then I can come back to version 5, hop on to San Andreas, then Vice City, then come to 4. Whatever I want to do with my app, as long as I'm using a version of Git, I'm using Git in my software, I can jump back between versions to see what the app, what the software, what the game looked like at a particular time. You might have seen it with like Google Docs, right? In Google Docs, you can see, okay, when was the last, what were the last changes, versions. They are using Git in the background to see what were the changes, right? So hopefully that makes sense, right? You guys get the idea. So GitHub, right, is basically a website that helps with softwares which are using Git. A lot of big companies, a lot of softwares, I hardly know any software that use GitLab or Bitbucket, but everybody likes to use GitHub, very well known. So if you are going into development, if you want to be big in development, this is a place to show your skills. Can contain many, GitHub, a web-based platform for software development, can contain many tools related to CVEs. Your even Metasploit is here. Your favorite Metasploit. Rapid7 owns it, so you can see all the codes done, right? What are the future what are the issues in there, what are the future features that are coming into this. So just an interesting thing. Along with proof of concept and exploit code. So on GitHub, not only you see software, but also when you go to exploit database, you can see other people's proof of concept, exploits they have developed, and code related to it. To demonstrate this idea, check the screenshot below for search results on the GitHub that related to Heartbleed vulnerability. So we had the vulnerability, where it is, 2014-1060. So let's copy this and see in GitHub what we get. Let me remove this. So I want to search all of GitHub. So I can see everyone who did a code related to Heartbleed, right? Related to this vulnerability. And that's what they are saying here. Same thing, checker and all those, right? So what utility does 2024-3014 refer to? Okay, let's look at this. I just have to go to exploit DB and search for this guy. Let's see what we get. Nope, nothing. Oh, first I have to go on NVD probably. Oh, this is the ZX library. Okay. So this is on National Vulnerability Database. ZX1, you probably, if you go on my website, there is a meme related to it. But malicious code was delivered in the upstream tarballs of ZX library. ZX library is used in Linux. Very big issue, and the whole world was like crying about it. And you can see 10 dark red, black. This is black. So this means like 10 is the maximum level of issue level you can go. Like 10 means it's very critical. We need to fix it right away. So that's what the vulnerability they are talking about. So we have to talk about utility. The software is ZX or XZ, sorry, XZ. I'm chewing on words. That's the one, right? XZ library, okay. XZ library. Have a look at the memes related to it to understand what XZ library was. Very interesting to understand through memes. Okay, technical documentation. One vital skill to acquire is to look up official documentation. We will cover a few examples of official documentation pages. This is an important one, Linux man pages. We did talk about it during our Linux fundamentals path, right? What Linux man pages and why this is the first one, because you don't have to go to Google to look at the man pages. Let's say if you are like me, you forgot how the nmap works. So I can go man nmap and I will get a man page, manual page. Don't ask me about female page or women page. That man means manual. So man page, right? Network exploitation tool and security port scanner. So this gives you information about what the tool is, some of the examples, right, that are related to the tools, and it will give you a lot more information. You can just keep going down. You can read about all the other flags that are available. That is reason why man page is important, because let's say you are in a system, you can't access internet. Then what you do? You go for the man page because that information is available in the system inherently. That's why it's good to get familiar with reading man pages. One of the things I did to learn something, right, is like you see in the color here background. I want to learn a bit more about Windows. So what I did, I changed my Windows to like look more sexy, almost like more hacker type for me. And that helped me like open command prompt much more often and get more familiar with command prompt. And same with like other ones too. Like if I open my Visual Studio Code, I have OMyZSH. This is the one I use for my development. It just looks cool. That's all I like. So I want to open it more often. I want to play with it more often, and just keeps me going, right? So just one of the tools I like. So much customization, just looks cool. That's all it does. And helps with the reading too. So I'll just post these things for you. Okay, so now, right, Long before the internet was everywhere, how would you get help using a command line in a Linux or Unix like system? The answer would be checking the manual page, man page for short, on Linux and every Unix like system. Each command is expected to have a man page. In fact, man pages also exist for system calls, library functions, and even configuration files. Very important that it's not just function, it's for system calls, which you will see with system CTL and all those PSOX commands, right? Which is talking about all the processes, library functions, ZX library was a library, even configuration files. Let's say we want to check the manual page for command IP. We use the command man IP. So man, manual, and then IP is technically a flag of this man command, right? The screenshot or argument, not a flag, sorry, argument. The screenshot below shows the page we received. You might want to start the attack box and run man IP on the terminal. Press Q to quit. Now, important here. Interesting thing I want to show you, right? Just because if you might question what is a flag versus an argument. When we type nmap, right? You type nmap, you give, let's say, IP or the, let's say SS, right? One of the arguments, or T4 for more threads, stealth mode, right? You see there is a dash here in the start, this thing, this indicates a flag. But let's say if I give a IP address, let's say 10.0.0.1, which don't have, like I just give it like this normally, this one don't have any dash in front of it. It's a value. That's called an argument. This is an argument. This is a flag. For different, there are various ways in which flag might have a argument attached to it, right? When we are, let's say, giving go buster, this is our command, go buster, and then I give -u, and then I give the URL of that website. So U is the flag, URL is the argument which is attached to this flag, and GoBuster is the command itself, right? So once you see it, man IP is actually the argument of man command. And we can go like man IP. You will see IP show manipulate routing, network devices, interfaces, and tunnels. So if we, and you can do like, if you see at the bottom, you see H for help, Q for quit. We do quit, right? And I can do IP, gives me little bit more information, same thing, okay, what to do with this command, but not as much information as man command will give me. Does that make sense? You guys understanding stuff? Ooh, coffee hard. Okay. If something you want me to go over again, let me know. I would love to, and I will try to think of a way which makes more information more better to understand, easy to understand. If you prefer to read man pages of IP in your web browser, type man IP in your favorite search engine. This page might be on top of the results. So before internet wasn't available, people used to go man, but now because it is available, people can go to web browser as well, and you will see one, either this or man7.org available, which gives the same information what man page has basically. So just in case if you don't have, you don't want to go through your command line, you can do that. But command line is the better way. The attack box is a Linux system accessible from your browser. Clicking on the start attack box button will display the attack box in a split screen, making it convenient to read the task text and apply the instructions within the same browser window. If you hide the attack box window, you can show it again by clicking blue show split view button at the top. In the task, you can start the attack box, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So what it means is if you go on the top, you say click on start attack box, say start, your machine is starting, and splits the screen. This was where we were. One thing I like to do is I click on this button. Let me show you. You see this THM attack box button on the bottom here. Here, you see here. I like to click here. It opens this view full screen button. This one. And I click here. So it opens in a different tab at all. And then I can exit full screen. Right? I like it that way because I hate seeing the split view button. Split view. So this helps a lot more, gets a bigger view of the machine and stuff. Sweet. So now, thank you so much, Hira. So now, Microsoft Windows. Microsoft provides an official technical documentation page of its products. The screenshot below shows the result of the command ipconfig. So you can go, this one, the man page and Linux die.net. Those are Linux related. But if you want to look for commands related to Microsoft ipconfig, you can type whichever command. It will go to Microsoft Learn and you will get all the information. So this is official Microsoft one. Product documentation. Every popular product is expected to have a well-defined documentation. This documentation provides an official and reliable source of information about the product features and functions. Example includes Snort. Snort is an intrusion detection and intrusion prevention system, very popular in the real world because it is like open. You can customize it to prevent your network from being attacked. You can have different rules and stuff like that, playbooks for it. Very popular. Apache HTTP server documentation. HTTPD, a lot of people have seen it. Ubuntu, right? Whenever you are using this. When you use CTF, a lot of time this is used. PHP documentation, it's the language itself. Same will have for JavaScript, Python, everyone has it. Node.js, Node, right? Part of JavaScript for server. All those things. All these things have documentation. Why it is important? I mentioned it in my Discord, right? I'll go over this quickly, but this is something I would recommend. And if you are interested, here's the Discord. I'll send this information here. So, okay, the streamer mode is not on, which is not best. So this one, in the YouTube videos, DEFCON Christopher Domes unlocking God mode.
Good afternoon.
In x86 architecture. This guy is what I call more than a genius. This guy, what he did, right? Just to give you guys an example, and this dude is a legend. The first person said it's a legend. It's actually he's a legend. What this guy did, if you know x86 architecture CPU, your Intel, your AMD, a lot of your CPUs are x86 architecture. This guy went through the documentation, looked through, found, and then played around with this CPU and found out that certain commands are not documented. Why they're not documented? Because they are not good. They should not be documented. They were not documented because they are kind of like vulnerable. So Intel didn't document it. This guy found them and unlocked, changing the memory to a level that like you should not, as a person, you can't reach. It's like he unlocked to a level where it's like rings in very, very, very low way in the hardware. And so he found that. And it took me like at least 40 times I watched this thing during my third year of my university to understand what this guy was saying. I had to Wikipedia so many things, including rings. I will show you something. Oh, I'm an idiot. So I'll show you something very interesting to look into. Rings. Ring level. So these are privilege. Protection rings are privilege level in x86 instruction sets. This guy went to -1. he's just crazy. Like, and Intel bought Intel paid a lot of money to this guy, so he doesn't or he become a researcher for them and doesn't do these more live conferences and stuff. So he is part of Intel security. I think I can do Christopher, Intel Corporation, right? He's senior security, leads core client and BIOS UEF offensive security. So very high guy, very high up level. And yeah, like this is his GitHub. Have a look. It's just another level. Guy got 4.5k followers on GitHub. That's like insane. But yeah, this guy is just on another level. I don't know what he do, like how he reached that level. But yeah, very high level person. So it's always rewarding to check the official documentation, and it is most up to date and offers most complete product information. So once you are able to read the product documentation, you can find a lot of information, including this year actually. Rabbit, you here? Do you remember there was, I think, Netlify or Cloudflare issue with I think authentication? That was also because somebody read the documentation and found out that there is some issue with the documentation. Or Node. Oh wait, what was it? Node? No. There was a JavaScript framework. I don't remember. Auth.js, maybe it was auth.js. I don't remember. Oh, middleware here. Next.js. A critical flaw in Next.js React framework could exploit bypass authorization checks under certain. So this one, which happened this year. Okay, so this one actually happened because somebody found out that because in Next.js, there is like in the authentication, they were not able to. Oh, I got a follower. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's why it was like such a meme war too going on. It was such a big meme war going on. Bypass vulnerability. I'll show you some really fun memes which were going on. Because just somebody read through the documentation and found out, okay, this is going on. I think it was, I don't... Oh wait, it was this one. I know where it was. Now I remember. You might know this guy. Fireship, Next.js. And
good
this
code is good.
This almost took down
but for everything else,
this also took down the internet for. Hi, Assay 5057. Hello, how are you doing? Thank you so much for follow. So this happened, and let me go over this guy. Cloudflare is responsible one of the worst security disaster in the internet. We tried to use our product and had non-stop incidents and move on. We mitigate DDoS attacks. I'm good too. Thank you so much. So yeah, these are the type of things you will see, and yeah, a lot of issues came out of this. Here, this is the one. We are going to flip this to opt-in only, which is extremely frustrating. Blah blah blah. So a lot of people do that. Very secure, but they are beatable too. Oh yeah, Next.js. Yeah, a lot of people talk about this Next.js as like very secure. Thing is like, no system is secure. And like when these things, it's a critical 9.1 level too for a company like this. 9.1 level is kind of a shame. And it's easy to bypass too. It was very easy to bypass. I remember this one so specifically. Okay, so hopefully that gives you an idea why documentation is useful and how like very high level people like Christopher Gomez or other researchers are able to find something at a level of 9.1 or 10 by just reading documentation. Is Next.js like owned or developed by Vercel? I think so. Something next. Vercel, yeah. It is. It is. It's open source. It's like React, right? React is basically by Facebook, Meta. But so many issues come. But actually, React is not that bad compared to like this Next.js 9.1 vulnerability. I haven't seen with React that much. Or maybe I just don't know. But yeah, like that's how it is. Where we were. So that's what I was saying. It's very important to go through these things because you just don't know what you will find in these documentation and people at DEF CON level. Where if I reach to a level where I'm presenting at DEF CON, I made it. I made it. Nobody else have to come to me. It's like, winning an Olympic gold medal or like international level medal. Nobody has to tell me I made it. I know myself I made it. It's that level DEF CON is thing. Yeah, DEF CON is happening in August, dude. If I reach some really good level, what's this called? Revenue in future, let's say 100,000, I would be love to sponsoring people for DEF CON. It would be so nice. But yeah, so people who don't know, DEF CON is my dream. Winning a black badge at DEF CON is my dream. This actually started it all. DEF CON started it all. My curiosity of reaching to a very high level and going every day. This started it all. And there is one near one in China and a couple of other ones. So if you get a chance, do go. It's a very interesting event. This is where Olympics of hacking happens here. So if you don't know about DEF CON, we can watch some really good ones and they have their own YouTube channel. So, and very interesting topics. DEF CON, there is, I think, a very fun one I watched recently. Yeah. How I Met Your Girlfriend by Sammy. And Sammy is one of those guys who was one of the most wanted one at one point. We have a Delhi event too handled by DEF CON India. Oh, nice. When is it? That's really nice. But yeah, Sammy, if you guys don't know, you might have heard of Worm, Sammy Worm. It's by this guy, and you might have seen in a bunch of YouTube videos. And he has a Darknet episode on him. And he was one who almost took down, or became #1 person on the social media platform called MySpace, which was Facebook before Facebook was a thing. MySpace. Sammy Worm, 2005. So in MySpace, he became #1 and FBI knocked on his door because he created a worm to become #1. Very interesting thing. Okay, so let's go back to this. What does Linux command cat stand for? So we can, the easy way, because a lot of people won't have virtual desktop on their system. Let's go here and let's see if we get this. But if you have, let's say, a tag box, it's taking time for me. So what I'll just go on my virtual desktop here and virtual box. And if I go man cat concatenate, yes, thank you so much. So concatenate, thank you, Shriram. That's correct. So concatenate is the meaning of cat, because a lot of them are like basically ls means list. A lot of them are very easy to know. What is the netstat parameter in Microsoft Windows that displays the executable associated with each active connection and listening port? This one easy way will be go netstat. That's the command, right? Netstat, right? And if we are going for these flags, we have for, what's the question again? Executable associated with each active executable. Executable involved in creating each connection and listening port. In some cases, well-known executable host multiple independent components. So our -B is probably the answer. Let's see. Beautiful. Now let's look at social media, the most interesting one. And given what TikTok did, what is the content of this channel? content for this channel, boss, is basically I do TryHackMe rooms. I explain as I'm going through it. Like I'm learning too, and I'm based on my information, I'm showing as much as I know. And sometimes I do challenges. Sometimes I do random videos in which reacting or learning something very interesting. But yeah, that's like cybersecurity, tech, and just improving. In the sense, like today we will be doing something, creating second brain with Obsdian after this video. So how to create a second brain. So interesting videos, but mostly about cybersecurity. So now we have social media, task 7. There are billions of users registered on social media platforms like Facebook. Facebook, I think, is the biggest one, and with so many active users, it's like, and total users being 3 billion almost, which is half of the earth. Then we have Twitter or X and LinkedIn. We expect you to be familiar with popular platforms. However, if you are aware of any platform you are not familiar with, we recommend that you check it out and learn about it. Ideally, one would want to explore a platform without creating an account. However, this severely limits our experience. So, for example, LinkedIn, we just went to Christopher Domus one. I can't go to LinkedIn, right, and see his much information about him. So what I will do, I will create a LinkedIn account just so I can get more information. Instead, one recommendation is to use a temporary email address to discover these platforms without linking them to your real email addresses. Once done, you may terminate the accounts and associated email addresses. One reason for not using your primary account is that you don't want your contacts to start connecting with you there only when you are only temporarily exploring your platform. Ian, what's up? I just got into Obsdian. It's quite nice to use alongside with studies. Oh yeah, dude, Obsdian, the one we will do is so much powerful. I saw this video about this guy who is going through he went through some books to understand how to create better notes. So it will be very interesting. Stay with us today. Like today is a very interesting day. And because I'm so excited about it, I don't usually have caffeine at night time, but today I will because of this. So thank you for saying that. It's nice. And here we were talking about this, right? Temporary address. Let me tell you one of the ways I like to do making account anywhere. A lot of people don't know this, but might have. This has been popping out, so might have. So let's say if I'm creating an account on Facebook, right? Or let's start from here. I have my email, right? My email is open on this browser, and I'm getting a bunch of spam emails nowadays. A lot of marketing ones and stuff like that. How to know what is the best way to find out which company has sold you? One of my best ways is whenever, let's say, you are making an account. Here, let's say my email is ch@gmail.com. Ooh, my writing is good in this one. gmail.com. Right? A lot of time people do this and then enter the password and blah, blah, blah. Better way, or to help you find what's going on, is instead of ch, you do ch plus whichever company you are signing up or whichever product. Facebook, or I will write FB, but you guys can write FB at gmail.com, because this ch at FB plus ch plus FB at gmail.com, all the information will still go to my email address. Everything will go as expected. But whenever I get an email, I will get it with ch plus FB. So if I get a spam, I will know Facebook sold my data. And let me quickly stop sharing for a second, and I will show you a real life example with this. I don't want to show you all my emails. I want to show you just a couple of them so you get the idea about it. Let's see, one I don't mind you guys seeing. Give me one sec, class. There's a couple of emails. Okay. This one should work. So here I share my screen. So you see this. This is one of my emails I use for lead code called Zolex Group plus lead code at outlook.com. Right? This is just one of my emails I use. I have like 5-6 of them. So I was just looking around to create these type of examples and see what lead code does. And this is one of my emails. And that's how I will get all the emails which are sent by lead code or etc. Like if they sold my email to somebody else. Now let me close this. So hopefully that gives you an idea what we are doing, right? And hopefully we go for a more secure world. Some companies don't allow this, but if they allow, use it. And how you know when some companies don't allow it? By just like entering it. If they say no, this is not a valid email, then go back to your normal one. Okay, with that, now let's go for more. And the power of social media is that it allows you to connect with companies and people you are interested in. So if I'm interested in hacking NASA or people who work at NASA, my way to go is through LinkedIn. I see what their batch looks like. Let me go for LinkedIn batches, images. For example, right? Leaked batches on social media for companies. So let's say if somebody wants to hack, let's say ID cards, maybe ID cards. I can't find, sorry, one sec. Okay, so you guys can see there are certain IDs that are out there. And you might find if somebody works at Microsoft, their ID is leaked. Microsoft. Let's say if somebody posted their Microsoft ID like this, what you can do is, and if you want to hack Microsoft, you know how the ID looks, and you can use your printers at home and stuff like that to get these same IDs and do a pen test. And if you're like, oh, there is sometimes chip in it, there is card readers. You can buy it for $10 on Amazon. Maybe we can do a video on that. That'll be fun. But yeah, that's why it's very important to understand, use social media, use the advanced features of social media so you can find really important things. People have shown their passwords too on there because it was on their desktop, sticky notes and stuff. So very interesting. When protecting a company, you should ensure that people you protect are not oversharing on social media. For instance, their social media might give away the answer to the secret questions, such as which school did you go as a child? Such information might also allow adversaries to reset their password and take over their account effortlessly. How I do it? I have my multi-factor authentication, a bunch of other things in place, so it changes. Furthermore, as a and having a very secure password goes a long way. Furthermore, as a cybersecurity professional, you want to stay updated with the new cybersecurity trends, technologies, and products. Following proper channels and groups can provide a suitable environment for growing your technical expertise. So like you can go to the Discord like mine and others and find more things like interesting news we share all the time, right? Besides staying updated via social media channels and groups, we should mention news outlets. Hundreds of news websites would offer valuable cybersecurity related news. Like there's Hacker News is one of the good ones, and there's a lot of social medias that helps. Try different ones and stick to the one you like the most. There is IT World, I think also another good newsletter on IT related information. Answer the following questions. You are hired to evaluate security of a particular company. What is the popular social media you would use 2, learn about technical background of one of the employees. Lads, I would love to hear some answers. So if you want to go and understand, you are targeting a particular employee, you want to know his or her technical background, what platform would it be? Next, continuing with the previous scenario, you are trying to find the answer to the secret question. Which school did you go as a child? What social media? Lignan, let's go, Rabbit. Thank you. Yeah, obviously. I know. What social media website would you consider checking to find the answer to this question? Which school people go to? Let's say if this person, let's say me, I haven't posted anywhere which school I go to. What would be an easy way? Facebook and Instagram are great, right? But let's say if I haven't posted, how would you use Facebook? If I may ask. Easy way for people to... Thanks, Sriram. Yeah. So Facebook, how I would use it personally, I will look at person, right, when they became friends with this specific person and see what they school go to. Because not everybody's, we are technically the first generation who are IT aware, right? If you think about it, we are the very first generation. Yeah, people literally mention in their bio, right? And if somebody don't, look at their friends, look at their circle, and you will find where they go to, right? Facebook is the best answer. Yes. Thank you. Conclusion. This room focused on the most common sources of information for cybersecurity professionals. Folks don't follow of... Yeah, basic OPSEC is a very interesting thing. There are plenty more. As the information landscape keeps changing, it is possible to cover all the... It's impossible to cover all the sources. However, by subscribing to relevant cybersecurity groups, one can stay ahead and be aware whenever new interesting sources arise. Ensure you have noted various search engines and resources mentioned in this room, as they will be convenient in any cybersecurity path you follow. Beautiful. Interesting thing I will tell you. So we cleared this. Amazing. Good job, lads. Use this. Like I always take... don't want this. Okay, use this because you can post this on your LinkedIn to get better, attention. You can get more connections and help with the new job, right? Just a very important thing. And another last thing I was about to say is, what was it? I forgot. I lost my... OPSEC. Yes. Operational security is such an important thing, and that's why I recommend, if you guys have a good version of Windows which allow BitLocker, use it. BitLocker is very important. So if somebody else by chance stole your computer, they are not able to get to your information, because BitLocker encrypts your whole system. It encrypts your whole disk. Takes time when you start. You have to type the password, but very important. Okay, so that's done, right? For tomorrow, because I'm just going to talk about what we will do tomorrow, and then we'll start toward Obsdian, creating a second brain. We are on our junior penetration certificate path. Let me send this again. Okay. So when you go up here, get started, recommended learning, it should show. No. Details, let's see. Sometimes I have to open it. Recommended learning. Okay, now it's showing. So we are in Cybersecurity 101. In the previous one, we covered offensive, defensive. Today we covered search skill. In the previous part, we covered Linux, right? So we have finally some Active Directory basics, which is very good. Rapid, you helped me go through my first CTF, so hopefully I'm able to go through more with Active Directory. So we'll start this tomorrow. Cybersecurity, this room will introduce you to the basic concepts and functionality provided by Active Directory. Why this is important, and I would rather say very important, because every organization use Windows, right? And Active Directory is how they manage users, groups, permissions, privileges, etc. So that's why it's very important. Now, with that being said, let's change the title here and let's go over something very interesting in my opinion. What was it name? Obsdian King. Okay, this video I was watching again before starting it. Before starting the stream, just like the video a lot. Okay, one thing this guy talks about, right, is Zeitlichen system. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's, I think, German. Let me. Okay, we'll start from the start because I want you to want you guys to learn everything. But what this system is, Zeitlichen is a German word that loosely translates to note box or slip box, right? Basically, a system which helps in better note taking, so your information is well surrounded and all your notes are able to kind of connect with each other, and you are able to, there's so many ads, bro. You are able to like make better notes and better think and help. Even let's say you wrote a note years ago, months ago, you will be able to find it when looking for a particular topic or learning something. Okay, skip. Okay, so I'll change this, right? Let's grab water as well, and then here, creating second brain feet. Obsdian. Obsdian, is there one? No. I have to change it. I saw it with like I forgot the name of the guy. Sorry. Primegan. Primegan, yeah, that's the name. Feet. Obsdian. No, never is seen. Hopefully you guys are ready. We'll go over every single topic in this, so you guys enjoy it. It's more like a react video and like doing some after in the second half of the video. Ready? Leslie, ready? Give me a yes. Hell yeah. Let's go. Something. If you guys are ready. Have your water because this will be a long video. Let's go. Yeah. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. They will show you how to do it. Yes, sir. Let's do it. So they will. This person will also go over how to download Obsdian, right? So just in case if you don't have it already, don't worry. And for Twitch people, because you will see an ad, I have already snoozed it twice. Might not be able to snooze it the next time. Maybe, maybe not. Let me know when the ad starts. I will pause the video. We will take a washroom break, whatever break, water break. Okay, so that nobody misses on the good content. Okay. So let's do it.
A year ago, I started building this. Almost a year ago, I started building this. You can call it a personal network of knowledge, but you might know it as a Zettelkasten or a second brain.
You guys can hear it, right? No issues. And I will stop my caption, so it's no issues for you guys. Can you guys hear it? The video?
After years of searching for the perfect approach to my learning, I think this is it. By far, it's been the most valuable asset for reading, for writing, and even for my thinking. But before I hype it up to you and show you how to make your own, there's something I should warn you about, a hidden danger. It's one that left me incredibly frustrated when I first started to make my own. It was a pain in the ass to get started, and I mean that. If you look up how to create a Zettelkasten in Obsdian or how to build your second brain, you'll find probably hundreds of videos, with each person showing their own method and their own way of doing it. And don't get me wrong, some of these were great. Like, I used them to build my own, and I couldn't be here without them. But the problem is, as I kept watching more and more videos, I was digging myself a trap, one that would be harder and harder to eventually climb out of when I had to. Every single YouTuber I watched had their own method of creating it, one that was slightly different to the next. And if you end up watching 10 or 20 of these, you start to pick out points from every single one. And then it fills you with this almost toxic sense of perfectionism. For example, I'd find some nice features from one video and then watch another video, and they have something different that stands out to me, like a shiny gem. I take that, and then that process repeats. And if you combine all their points from all these videos, you end up with this mess, this Frankenstein's monster of a setup that tries to be everything but fails. I was deluded in doing that. I thought I could steal from everyone else's workflow and make the perfect one, but that's not how it works. In fact, all it did was bog me down. For months, I didn't really do much writing. I was just obsessed with getting the perfect setup, which doesn't exist anyway. But thankfully, I eventually realized that this system was never going to be perfect. In fact, every time I added a new feature, I was only adding a pointless gimmick that was a distraction.
Tutorial hell, yeah. Dude, it's the worst thing. Is a lot of people don't realize, like, tutorial hell is the worst thing. That's why I like CTF, like Sriram Rabbit pointed out, that's why I like CTF if you're going for cybersecurity or do some projects on your own, like find a problem, do the project, never go through the tutorials, because somebody is way experienced, whatever they say, it's very hard to catch up with the same knowledge, right? So important to not go through tutorial hell. That's such a beautiful thing.
From the true work,
Thank you,
the
Robert.
writing. And without wasting more time, I just gripped my teeth and moved forward with what I had already. I abandoned all the weird gimmicks, the plugins, and all the bullshit features that didn't actually matter. And I focused on the bare bones. And suddenly a weight was just lifted off my shoulders. It felt good because now I could actually do what I wanted to do, which was to write. I didn't have to worry on finding the perfect system and optimizing every single step of the way. I do realize now I'm just an extra voice in the conversation, but I just want to reassure you and say that this setup is free from bullshit. There are no pointless features, there are no gimmicks. This setup is simple, it's minimalistic. It focuses only on the key features that actually help you get to where you want to be. And I have the experience to vouch for this system. I've used Obsdian for, I think, 9 months now, almost every day. And since the start, after hundreds of notes, it hasn't changed. The setup is exactly the same. And to me, that's solid evidence that it works. So if you're feeling intimidated by the idea of starting your own, I get you. I was in that same position. But I hope this setup can free you of some of that stress and really give you the building blocks you need to just get started. If you want an immediate walkthrough on how to set it up, then please do skip to that. But for this next portion of the video, I want to talk about why should you do this anyway? Like, what's in it for you? It seems like a lot of effort.
I think we should start a timer too, so that in, let's say, a year, we catch up on this video and talk about each other's experience on how this was, what things we learned, so we can share it to everyone in cybersecurity or any tech or any industry people are in.
And it is.
Do a reminder.
But I want to cover 3 main benefits that make it so powerful as a learning tool. Over the years, I've tried many learning techniques because I was sick and tired of walking away from my books the same person, forgetting all the important things and failing to reflect on what was inside. It was exhausting, and I felt like all the effort I put into the learning was just vanishing into thin air, and it was all for nothing. This all changed when I read a book called How to Take Smart Notes by Sönke Ahrens. Now, I think that's how you pronounce it, but do correct me if you're German. This is the book I chose to bring on a 3-hour flight, and I thought it would just be a casual laid-back experience on, maybe how you can make your notes a little bit more effective. I was so wrong. By the time the plane landed, the course of my entire reading from that point would change forever. Those 3 hours, I was just captivated by what I was reading, because this was revolutionary. I had never thought of note-taking and learning quite like this. This book tore down lots of misconceptions I got from traditional education, and it gave me this fresh and exciting perspective to reading. It was the idea of a Zettelkasten, a slip box, which is exactly what we're building today.
So, like you pointed out, Sriram, so 20% learning, 80% practice. One of the most best things I learned, I used to do door-to-door sales, if people don't know, for the background. I wanted to learn English. When I came to Canada, it took me 4 months to even, I came in August end, like 31st August. First time I ordered a coffee and I was able to develop a courage and enough English to say that I want a coffee at a cafe. Took me 3 to 4 months, right? November or December, I ordered it. So I thought I will learn English by doing door-to-door. I was like, okay, might not earn much money, but I will learn English because I will talk to people in English every day. One of the best things my manager said was, from day one, as a kid, you learn that knowledge is power. Scratch that. That's BS. Knowledge is never the power. Application of knowledge is the real power, because there are so many people, like, you can keep on watching YouTube videos, men not do anything, not going to help you. apply that knowledge, that's very powerful. Like you can learn about stock analysis and stuff, but you will be too afraid for the whole life to invest because it's risky. Do it. Learn, make mistakes, learn. That's how you learn how to ride a bike, car, anything. So application of knowledge is the true power. Make sure you keep that as the motto of your life. So yeah, that's it, and let's go back here.
Now, I do recommend was the idea of a Zettelkasten, a slip box, which is exactly what we're building today. Now, I do recommend you check his book out because it is really good. But to keep it brief, the Zettelkasten is a note-taking system that builds your notes from the bottom up. It lets you take the ideas you read and embed it in this network of knowledge, one that serves you in all your goals, from learning to reading to writing. There's 3 main ways it's so effective and almost unlike any other note-taking system. The first reason is that it forces you to slow down. Now, a lot of people don't like to hear that. All the hustle grindset bros, they don't like the idea of abandoning speed reading. And they might hate me for saying this, but it's true.
Why can't you stay organized? I've experienced this myself, and it's called...
I need like, what's this called? YouTube Plus or whatever, YouTube Premium. Okay. Let's go back a little. No, I'll start.
Bros, they don't like the idea of abandoning speed reading. And they might hate me for saying this, but it's true. In most cases, speed and reading are not a good mix. The best thing I ever did for my reading was to slow it right down and take thorough notes in the process. The slowness of the writing forces you to dwell on the author's ideas. Of course it's slower, you do lose speed, but to me that's a worthy sacrifice because all the ideas will have a lasting impact on your mind. It's like when you eat too much at Christmas and you sit there all stuffed and bloated and you have to really wait and digest to be able to come to life again. This is kind of the same thing, but with your brain. The result is not only a way better retention of what you read, but you also start to understand things more deeply. Because, you know, some of these books are chunky, and it's not like you can speed through them and just remember everything. The second power of the Zettelkasten is that it gives you instant feedback on your learning. I'm not sure how it works in the USA, but in the UK we have this thing called A-levels. And that's 2 years of study before going to university. And you can pick 3 or 4 subjects for that. And I did history. And in history there was a lot of essays.
So people who don't know this, I was looking, I think I looked for it, and this is your 11th and 12th grade, if I'm not wrong. Similar, very similar to that.
Writing. We did essays almost every week. Now, normally you hand in your essay and you get feedback a week later. But let's say there was a twist this time. Every time I handed this essay in, I would never get any feedback. If that pattern continued for a year or 2, I would get to the end of my A-levels and my essay writing would be just as shit as when I first started. Because to get better at any skill, you need 2 things. You need practice and you need feedback. Now, in that case, I had lots of practice. I wrote every week, no problem there. But I didn't get any feedback. And if there's no one there to correct you, you're going to end up making the same stupid mistakes again and again and again. Writing notes is the exact opposite of that situation. Because by doing that, we get instant feedback. By writing, we get an instant reflection of our own understanding. Because if we struggle to put something into words, then that's a sign that we haven't understood it. It's a sign for you to go back to the book and check your understanding. This is a prime example of the Feynman technique in action, which says that if you teach something, in this case writing, you actually learn it better yourself. The third benefit of this system is that you allow your notes to form connections. Most people store their notes by subject in these clear subdivided folders. Now this makes sense in our head. We've been taught to do it in school. But there's actually hidden danger to it because it has the tendency to isolate your ideas and that stops you from seeing the bigger picture. You'll see what I mean with an example, and it's going to sound really weird at first, but bear with me. Why are reptiles mostly in hotter areas of the world? It's because they're ectotherms, which you probably know as cold-blooded. Now this means to effectively hunt and escape predators, they have to warm up using the environment. Like when a lizard sits on a rock to absorb the energy of the sun. Because we're mammals, we can produce our own heat from within, but this is expensive because unlike lizards, we have to eat a lot more to keep ourselves warm. Well, the hidden strength that we have as mammals is that we can stay active even in the cold. If you travel north to the Arctic as a lizard, it's going to be so cold that you can't properly move, and you end up either starving or dying to a predator. But since we produce our own heat, we can stay active, and that means we can avoid predators and also hunt effectively. We can outcompete the reptiles even in the coldest temperatures. Okay, that's that, but let's slow down a second. Why am I giving you a biology lesson? I gave you a simple explanation of that topic, but if you want to understand it in depth, you have to know things from chemistry, from physics, from biology, from ecology. To understand the bigger picture, you have to pull ideas from all 4 of these subjects. And if you fail to understand something in that chain of reasoning, you might not get the whole thing. In that same example, if you have no idea why muscles slow down when they're cold, then you won't be able to explain that properly to me. But there is hope, because if you understand the physics and the chemistry and the biology, you can somehow piece everything together into this clear picture, and you can understand it and you can explain it to me. This is true wisdom. This is the end result of learning, the most valuable thing you can achieve. And this system, this Zettelkasten, is exactly how you'll get there. The second major benefit of the Zettelkasten is how it helps you store and mix ideas. Before I started taking notes like this, I would write all of the things I learned in separate notebooks. I love the feeling of pen on paper because you can be free with it and you can draw all the diagrams you want. It's satisfying. Now, this was all well and good, but as I was a few notebooks in, I started to realize a problem that was creeping up on me. How the hell am I going to manage this later? Am I going to end up with 100 notebooks? And what do I do then? So I made the painful decision to overhaul everything and prevent this disaster. It may have hurt in the moment, but I knew that this physical method of note-taking was going to hurt me in the future, and it had its limits. With Obsdian, the app we're using today, all of your notes are in the same place, whenever and wherever you need them. Instead of carrying 100 notebooks or flashcards, you have your whole personal library on your phone or computer. And if you store your note files on the cloud, you can literally travel across half the world and you'll still be able to find them. Even though I love taking notes on paper, this is the obvious best choice nowadays. So the storage of notes is already perfect, but there's an extra benefit of having everything in one place. It's the power of connecting ideas to make new ones. In this system, like we said before, your notes are free from the restrictions of folders. This means you don't have to go through the annoying other picture.
So the ad is going on Twitch. So I'm just pausing for a quick second and want to know, like, what do you guys think of the video so far? I want the ad to like go back quickly. It should be like a minute ad, so we should be good in a minute. But I just want to know, what do you guys think of this type of video? Should we do it more often to increase our learning, understand how things work and stuff like that? Well, any ideas? Like anything you guys think? Like, okay, reaction videos like these, like the one we did, Fern one, providing information. Yeah, we sure, right? There is like a couple more in one I wanted to, I've been doing it actually, was related to, one sec, pausing for ads. Okay, one we talked about was dopamine. So, so dopamine is regarding, like, you know, how to reduce your dopamine so that learning becomes interesting. And like, because if you are staying on Instagram longer, right, dopamine is way higher and learning is way harder, especially for students nowadays. That's the basic why you are not able to focus on your learning, is because when you are staying in your dopamine, you're having dopamine so high with Instagram and TikTok and all these things, learning doesn't provide you with that much dopamine and you're not able to focus. So what practical things we can do, whether with stress management, dopamine, which are very practical, hard to do, hard to implement sometimes, but very practical to do, right? That's like things I can talk about, and I have been implementing, and I have asked somebody to implement with me, forcing rather somebody to do it, and the results are positive. Very interestingly, results are positive for every single one. Okay, so the ad looks like it's done on Twitch, so we can go back. Okay.
In the same place, whenever and wherever.
So we'll do that. Let me know whatever type of topics, whether stress management, forcing to learn, making learning enjoyable. I will watch 20 videos and come up with a perfect one for you guys.
You need them. Instead of carrying 100 notebooks or flashcards, you have your whole personal library on your phone or computer. And if you store your note files on the cloud, you can literally travel across half the world and you'll still be able to find them. Even though I love taking notes on paper, this is the obvious best choice nowadays. So the storage of notes is already perfect, but there's an extra benefit of having everything in one place. It's the power of connecting ideas to make new ones. In this system, like we said before, your notes are free from the restrictions of folders. This means you don't have to go through the annoying process of opening 10 different subfolders to find that exact note you were looking for. In this system, they're all in one arena. They're all free to mingle and to connect. Insights from Socrates, Dante, and the Bible can connect with those from maybe Virginia Woolf or Nietzsche or any other modern author you can think of. Every new book, video, and article you read can add something valuable to the conversation.
So to give an idea, let's say you're learning about psychology, right? One of the courses you took, or writing a screenplay or something you are interested in. Connecting that to cybersecurity, in which, okay, writing, how can I write my own story so I can do a better social engineering attack? Psychology, literature writing or story writing, creating a scene of your like a cinematic scene of yourself while telling your story of your character to a company you're hacking or something, a person you're hacking. And then cybersecurity, all three can connect, the dots can connect, we just don't know how. So keep learning, dots will connect when you look back.
Something that can form these exciting connections that you never saw coming. Your network of notes only gets stronger with time. And you can't say the same for a system of folders, because the more you add, the more messy and confusing it gets.
This is what Steve Jobs also said, right? In his Stanford. It's funny, I was watching it today. But Stanford, I listen to speeches while working sometimes instead of music. He said, and same thing which is in Bhagavad Gita, you can never connect the dots looking forward. It only connects backwards. Whether with typography, starting next and putting the typography in different computers and then Windows and the whole world. So those are interesting things.
This is the exact opposite. And I know what you might be thinking. This looks chaotic. It looks messy. It's ugly. And I will admit mine is uglier than most people's online. Without a system of tags and hyperlinks, it is a mess and it is hard to navigate. But if you follow some basic rules in how you construct the notes and organize it, it's actually really easy to then navigate this maze and find exactly what you're looking for. And I'm not giving it enough credit here, because sometimes you'll write a note and then months down the line, you completely forget it exists. But because of your system of links, you end up rediscovering it by accident. And it's the nicest surprise. And here's the nice part. If you're more of an organized type of person, which I am too, I like folders, this system still caters to you. If you use tags, you can add this extra layer of organization to your notes. And if you want to find something related to a specific topic, it's still easy. And if it sounds confusing, no worries, because we're going to walk through these steps in detail a bit later on. The third major benefit is easier and faster writing. And this is by far my favorite one. It's so exciting to talk about. When I first read about this idea in How to Take Smart Notes, I swear I almost got goosebumps, because at the time I knew this was big. This would change how I write forever. The best way to show you this is to compare two different writers. Our first writer has an idea for a book, and he's got a rough idea of the structure, so all he has to do now is set out to research. Whenever he finds a useful idea, he just takes it and puts it in his planning draft. He then uses subheadings to sort it out and see what will go where. After many long hours, lots of caffeine, and maybe an existential crisis or two, he's finished the book. That sounds all good, right? Well, yeah, maybe for now, but you'll see he's screwing himself over in the future. Our second writer also wants to write a book, but he starts without an idea for the title. He doesn't know what the end product might be. Instead, he just reads about whatever he's interested in, and on the way he picks up the ideas that resonate the most. With some simple organization of his notes, he begins to see these areas of interest form around certain topics. In the case of Obsdian, this can be literal clusters that begin to form. For example, the more he reads about human behavior, the bigger the area of discussion gets. And before he knows it, he's got the building blocks for a book. With a quick look through the notes, the writer sees how he can order them in a linear way. Now all it takes is some rearranging, some editing, and of course a little bit of extra writing. But then suddenly you have a book. It was a relatively quick process because most of the writing was already done in the form of the notes, way before the idea of the book even existed. The first writer didn't have this opportunity, and he's also missing out on a second benefit. Because the second writer collected his ideas outside of the book draft, he can reuse these notes as many times as he wants in all sorts of different projects. In other words, none of his research is stuck within the book draft, or his article or blog, or whatever else he wrote. If our first writer wants to do the same thing, and maybe write a second book, well, he has to start from scratch. He has to go through the long and painful process of finding all this research again. It's kind of like how we're taught to do it in school. We start with the essay title and then do all the research. And once the essay is done, we just throw the research away. And this system is crazy if you think about it. It's inefficient, it's slow, and it forces you to repeat all the research. You want to spend your time writing, not finding the same old notes from before. With this system, you make your notes work for you, and not the other way around. I'm writing a book now, and because it's on a topic I care about, a lot of the research already exists in my note-taking software. And as I'm writing it up, notes I made from months ago will resurface to help me. And most of these notes I totally forgot about, but because of the links and the tags, it allows me to find them when I need them. If you invest in this system, you're building yourself a personal writing assistant, one that only gets stronger with time. I hope I've sold the Zettelkasten system well, but if you want more details, then do check out the book, because I've only scratched the surface, to be honest. So we finally reached the setup stage. And I want to show you how you can get the ball running without that usual frustration at the start. Because believe me, when I was building this for the first time, I was pissed off at every corner. There were so many things I didn't understand and it was just frustrating. I want to also show you how I'd write a note from start to finish using all the different features. There's no gimmicks, there's no pointless complexity, and there's no bullshit. Just simple and effective note-taking.
It indeed is one of those videos which is like no BS. You learn straightforward. And that's so, I want you to go, like if you don't already have Obsdian on your system, I would really recommend you go through this. Painful, but no pain, no gain. If you really want to be like top level person, you really need to go through these, right? Because right now, I kept it this way so you guys can see, okay, this is how it looks right now. And I will take actually image of this. And after I do what this guy says and I like go through stuff, I still use Notion. Yeah, like does Notion have these note taking? Oh, nice. Like does Notion have these note taking, like you can create a graph or a second brain? Because oh, you're unhappy about it, dude. Hopefully, like my advice would be, why not just take this opportunity to learn Obsdian, right? Like learn Obsdian and let's do this, because I was a Notion guy too. It is there. I have Notion too. I was using Notion, and I think Rabbit. So Rabbit also was mentioning how it is like he wants to get out of Notion, right? Because it's like complex, and like the worst part with Notion, I found out too many constraints. Yeah, and that's why like this would be a good day to just learn, download Obsdian, at least download Obsdian on your system if you don't want to transfer notes or anything. So at least you have, whenever you are ready or whenever you see this, you want to be like, you know what, I will give it a try. So I will say download it, and everyone, it's time to switch to Obsdian indeed. And everyone on Twitch or on YouTube, right? Once you download Obsdian, do a message. And because I want to hear a message, I want to see things at least being helpful. It will help me, right? It will help me. So once you download Obsdian, let me know. Let's see
First
what
thing to do is install Obsidian from their website. This is super easy and of course it's totally free. You're then given the option to name your vault, but what the hell is a vault anyway? This is where all of your notes are stored, and it's the highest level of organization in this system.
Root directory, root folder, basically.
When you first make a vault, you have to first name it, but also choose the location of the vault. This is because a vault is just a folder on your computer, and you can choose exactly where that folder goes. Every note you make in Obsidian will become a file in this folder. This is great because not only does it let you use Obsidian offline, but you can also easily copy and transfer your notes because they're just files. I would recommend.
Right. So for me, it is basically, I named it second brain because I really want to create it as my second brain. Let me make it, not this guy. As you can see here at the bottom, my reason for sticking to Notion was sometimes I do like to open the same note in my other laptop or phone. But you can do that. Oh, thanks, Shriram. Nice to download it. But I will say this, download it, right? Idor. I love the name, by the way. It's nice. Idor is such a good attack. But yeah, I will say download it, right? And just give it a try. Yeah, because like even if you go, you can do with Obsdian because everything will be online, right? You can store it that way. Zoom in. Let me see a little bit. Okay, good. That's easy. That's actually much better. Okay, so you guys can see, and the name of my Obsdian, if you guys can see here, second brain. I wanted to keep it on that. I did it, try it out. Nice. Awesome. Let's do it now.
Recommend storing your vault on the cloud, somewhere like Google Drive or OneDrive. So obviously it's backed up and you can access it from any device. Mine is in my Google Drive in a folder called Obsidian. And you might notice that when you do this, it creates an extra folder called .obsidian. This folder holds all of the system files, and you don't need to worry about it, but it's just good to know where they are. And what I love about this system is once you choose the location, you don't really have to worry about it ever again. All of the note-taking happens within the app itself. Now, before we dive into the setup with all the folders and stuff, I want to let you know that this is going to be a step-by-step approach. I may be wrong, but I think this is the easiest way for you to understand things instead of, dumping everything onto you at once. This means some things might be confusing in the moment, but will begin to make sense as we progress through the steps. Now let's get into the folders. I use 6 in my system, but to reassure you, only 3 of them are really active in your note taking. The other 3 kind of sit in the background most of the time. The folders we're focusing on.
Okay, let me just make it so it's easy for me to switch between this.
One of the numbered ones. So
rough notes is the first one. Then there is source material, tags, indexes, template, full notes, story log, and guidebook.
The 2 at the bottom, you can ignore them completely. They're just some extra things I use on the side. So let's get into the setup and I'll explain each as we go. This is what you see when you create a vault. I first like to delete all this crap, all the tabs, and that gives us a clean slate to work from. Much better. Next, I use this icon on the top left to create 6 new folders. But, to keep things straightforward, let's start with 1. The first...
Okay, so first is rough work. I'll change my name, so don't have anything here. Rough work. Hopefully you guys are able to follow. Let me know if you want me to slow down, as I feel like might be needed.
Folder I call rough notes. Here I jot down anything temporary. Things like ideas I had, maybe reminders, or of course rough notes. It's like a notepad where you write down things you don't want to forget. And
is this 180 degree? 180p, not 180 degree.
Anything else you might need. For example, here, it's like a notepad where you write down things you don't want to forget.
CH, what do you really mean by second brain? Is it just a term used for the graph? My Obsdian shows data So second brain, what I mean by this, right? And this is what I will say. So once you put all the notes, they will create like a graph, which is all linked together with indexes and stuff. The reason I call it a second brain, because there is there is a really good movie that came out called Karthik Calling Karthik, Indian movie, but it was all about everybody have 2 brains. One is which you see when you are up, it's working. It's like your I think what was the right word? Let me search for the right word. Conscious and unconscious brain. Conscious one is like what you are using consciously. Let's say I'm talking to you and calling your name. Unconscious is certain information that's in the background you don't even know about, right? But it's in your brain. The reason I call this a second brain is because this graph will be it will be kind of my unconscious brain, because I've did a simple CTF, I did search skills, I used Nmap so many times, but still I sometimes forget in my conscious brain what is the best or my favorite command for Nmap, right? I sometimes forget, and that's why I like to use it. Best thing with, and that's what I meant by second brains, it will help me create and bring that unconscious brain to a conscious state. And that's the goal of this. Hopefully that kind of explains it. Best thing about Obsdian is that we can straight up use MD formatting. In Notion, you have to add code blocks and then select. Yeah, that's why I like this one too, because this, or even I used to do in Visual Studio Code with readme.mb for every project I did. Love the markdown. It's such a easy way. No, not much. Just like simple controls. I love markdown. Markdown is my favorite way of doing it. So Rabbit, did that explains a little bit about like what you want me to do about like the second brain? MD love, yeah, 100%. MD is love, 100%. Best way. And Rabbit, does that explain regarding the unconscious brain? It's like the information we have covered, but we forgot, and it's just helping us bring that again in. Awesome.
Yeah. And anything else you might need. For example, here I keep up a list of ideas that I might want to research further. I also keep a tracker of my daily word count for my writing habit. And to be honest,
Leonardo da Vinci had notes for literally everything. Oh, really? Oh, I need to look into that. Let's put that in my rough note. That'll be nice. Interesting. String facts to so I put it here, right? Leonardo da Vinci had notes about everything. That will be interesting to look into. Or maybe I will name it to do. To do someday. Or is that he was curious and he learned many things. He was a polymath. What is polymath? Chalo, I will go import my Notion files to over here. Ah, my boy. Attaboy. One of us. One of us. Awesome. So let's do it. Let's do it together. So rough work, I created my first one to do someday, right? Excellent as an artist, scientist, inventor, and more. Yeah, indeed.
I don't use this folder that much because I prefer to keep all my rough ideas on paper. So whether you want to use this folder or not is entirely up to you and your preferences. The second folder is called source material. Here I store the insights from anything I consume. Not just books, but also videos, articles, podcasts, even Twitter threads.
This is good because now let's say I learn something from Twitter, like what we were searching about the vulnerability. I can put my notes here. So good. And one thing I will do is what for will be like one of my more interesting one, because I would like to write this is, or maybe a canvas will have it, a guide here at the end. So one rough work, what this is for, all rough notes, things I will do and whatever later on, right? Second would be source material. Source material. Source where I learned from, like let's say YouTube, Twitter, CTFs, right? Yeah, cheat sheet. So that's nice. That's a good word for it. Cheat sheet. Yeah.
Anything. I like to make different subfolders to store different types of sources.
So articles is something I love to read. So that's a good way, like putting some things. And I can put that too. I think this will be helpful for me so I can organize this. So maybe we can do articles. Another one, because I like to listen to Darknet Diaries all the time. Delete this one. Source material. Another folder would be podcast. And then I can even create, let's say, CTFs or TryHackMe. Should I create TryHackMe and Hack the Box, or more like CTFs and rooms? TryHackMe and Hack the Box would be nice. I think easy way. Because those are my ways to learn. The box. And then social media. Another one would be, let's say, books. Well, good enough. Good enough. I like it. You guys following me, right? Enjoying? Ready? Okay, so let's look more.
Source material. But of course, this is totally optional. And you'll notice that some at the bottom are unsorted. And this is on purpose. These notes are active, meaning I'm still working on them and I haven't finished the writing. But
so things that are not inside a folder is active. That's beautiful way to tell.
Of course, once I do finish, I can then neatly tuck them away where they belong. Now that's just the setup, but don't worry, I will dive into these notes a bit later on. The third folder stores my tags. Tags are your best friend in navigating your network, especially when it gets large. You'll need these if you want to avoid drowning in your notes later on. In this folder, I store all of the tags. And this sounds weird, like since when do you store tags? Now you can make tags the traditional way, using a hashtag, and that does work. But I prefer a different approach, one that I think is more powerful. Instead, each of my tags is just an empty note. Let's say I'm writing a note about humility and leadership.
The reason you will see I also don't like doing the way he mentioned with hash, and I will show you why.
Now, of course, one of the tags is going to be humility, which is a topic I'm interested in. To apply the tag to the note, I have to make a link to it. To do this, I type the square bracket button twice, and then this brings up a search function. From here, I type humility, and then I close it off with 2 more square brackets.
Okay, by the way, as hacker friends, what are you guys currently doing? Search, myself, I finished CEH. Oh, nice. Currently preparing for my TCM, the Cyber Mentor and PWPA. And oh, nice. Oh, nice. I'm working towards my pen test 1. Penetration tester 1. Or PT1, I think. PT1 certificate. I like that. Nice question. And also I'm working towards a certificate. People don't know much about this one. PL300 by Microsoft. This one is not related to hacking at all. This one is about data and learning Power BI, which is business intelligence software. Why? Job. Like I'm thinking of switching a job to go for a more secure job, and that's why I'm working towards it. And who knows, right? Just starting my cybersecurity journey. Lovely. So that'll be nice. Yeah. Thanks for the question. That's a really good question to ask community. And oh, by the way, Idor, I might have forgot to mention this. There is a Discord too, so you can join there. I have CEH2. Yay. I have EJPT. Google search. Right now working towards OSCP. I have it on 27. All the best, Rabbit. Yeah, you mentioned. So that's awesome. Yeah, I never knew you have so many certs. That's awesome. I have a cloud related one because I'm a DevOps engineer. So yeah, I have some Azure related. So those are interesting too. Okay, going back a little bit.
To the note, does work.
OSCP or CPTS. We can call this self-improvement. Yeah. His one is OSCP. We have somebody on Twitch, and even in our Discord, his name is Bandit, BANNEDIT. He is doing CPTS from Hack the Box. That's an interesting one. Okay, let's get going into this.
But I prefer a different approach, one that I think is more powerful. Instead, each of my tags is just an empty note. Let's say I'm writing a note about humility and leadership. Now, of course, one of the tags is going to be humility.
Sorry, what's that? If the requirement is job, then OSCP, HR loves it. CPTS for better content, but not every HR. Yeah, Bandit has OSCP, and he told me that CPTS is a bit more, if I'm not wrong, CPS is a bit more harder. I don't know if he has OSCP or not, but he has 2 decades of experience. So I'll take his word.
Which is a topic I'm interested in. To apply the tag to the note, I have to make a link to it. To do this, I type the square bracket button twice, and then this brings up a search function. From here, I type humility, and then I close it off with 2 more square brackets. Here, I've created a link to a note. But the reason it's grayed out is because it doesn't exist yet. Once I click on the link, it automatically creates the note. And this is the humility tag. This is simply a note called humility, but we're going to use it as a tag in this case. And I don't want it to appear in the same folder as my notes. So if you click on the top right, it pulls up a drop-down menu. So you get the option to take this note and move it to the tags folder.
So let's do this, right? Let's move it. So if I've created one for, let's say, search skills, right? Nothing much here. I'll go here. The reason I don't like going for the hash, because it technically is part of the what's it called, MD markdown stuff. Like it's one of those key containers. So I'll just go with tags, and it's nice to see, right? India, all the HRs love that OSCP in the job requirement mentions, sir. Dude, HRs are the worst when it comes to these cases, right? Yeah, OSCP or something similar, but it's interesting because I will say, if you're going for, don't think about similar, given, and I will give you a very good reason for it, because even if you go for, let's say, a similar one, it is not going to be helpful, because a lot of these HRs run your resume through various like softwares, so they are specifically looking for OSCP. That's why OSCP is considered. Yes, it's heading. Yeah, you got it, Shriram. Thank you so much for the word. So if you go with hash, it's a heading and it becomes smaller, like you see for task 5 I have. But tags, let's say if we do, I like it this way too because it's easier to look, right? Bro, HRs are idiots though, honestly. I hate them. So I have a tag called TryHackMe already. Lovely. So I'll go here. Then another one I would have is, let's say, search one. What would be a good tag for this? I have no idea. Let's keep it hack the box. TryHackMe, sorry. Let's keep it TryHackMe. But HR are idiots, man. Not going to lie. I hate them. I hate a bunch of them. There are very few which are good.
Order. So now whenever you write a new note and you want to add the humility tag to it, all you have to do is use the double square brackets to then link to this note. You can create as many tags as you like. Now I have quite a large list because I love to read about lots of different subjects. The point of this folder is to keep your system tidy and free from all this clutter. If tagging still sounds confusing to you, then don't worry because we're actually going to revisit it later. The fourth folder stores.
And tagging, why it's important? Because if you will see, tag is connecting you to different notes. I have no one from your job watches you live. Bro, if even somebody watches, I have proper reasoning and they can't fire me for. If they fire me, Canada has like some really good, what's it called, laws in place for that. I wish Obsdian had multiple color options for highlight. Definitely yellow. Yeah. Oh, actually, that'll be nice. Yeah, for highlighting, that'll be nice. Oh, dude, nice. But yeah, like even with like, it's funny because I don't think HR, like people, I know some people watch my stream from my work, but actually a lot of them hate HR. A lot of them hate HR. So it's interesting.
Tagging still sounds confusing to you. Then
everybody share like kind of a same, like, you know, apes together, hate it.
Don't worry, because we're actually going to revisit it later. The fourth folder stores indexes. Once your knowledge network grows, it can reach a point where it's a bit tricky to navigate. And this is what repels most people from starting one.
Summoning spirits to help with keyword research. Use SimRun.
Bro, I have watched one. Okay, let's go back.
And this is what repels most people from starting one. They see this horrible, ugly, spiderweb looking thing and think, how in the hell am I going to navigate this? It's just too much. And that may be true, but luckily we have indexes. They come in and solve this problem. Do you remember the tags from last step? Well, because the tags are just empty notes, we can use them as indexes too. When a tag gets big enough, as in you've connected a lot of notes to it, you can actually turn this tag into an index. An index is almost like the contents page of a book.
So let's read through this. What index is? Let's say index is learning. Guiding principles in learning. Wisdom is worth gold. Man must suffer to be wise. That's a nice thing. Have the humility to say, I don't know. Notes with learning tag arranged in this index. So all the notes. Nice. So this is good. So let's create indexes also as one of the things. So I have created already. Source material, I have to give it a new name with 2 at the start. Dude, it will be nice though. Yellow, I will like it. To have the highlighting to be in yellow. Okay. 3 is for, indexes is actually 4. Tags are 3. Keeping it the way he wants it, 3. Okay, beautiful. So let's see what this guy's saying. We don't have any much of stuff, so.
You take all of the notes within the tag and give them some sort of logical structure. And this is super easy because our tags are empty notes and we can just go inside the note and start filling out the index. Let's take the humility tag again. You can see here I have a few notes linking back to this tag. Now because there's only a few, I don't bother making.
So there is like linked in this tag, there is like how many? 5, 6. A strong leader is humble. The tags inside it are leadership and humility. You can see the tags for every single one. Effective copywriting is humble. Copywriting, emails, marketing psychology, humility. And this gets highlighted in yellow. Let's talk about that. It's so good. Like you got your yellow highlighting bud.
An index. There's no point.
You never connect dots in the future. You always connect it backwards. This is hilarious. They're dead. They're dead.
I have a few notes linking back to this tag. Now, because there's only a few, I don't bother making an index. There's no point of it because I can see everything in one place easily. But let's say I choose my learning tag. Now, this is a much bigger one because it has 51 relevant notes linking back to it. So to turn this tag into an index, I add some subheadings. And then under these subheadings, I link all of the notes that fit that category. The idea of the index is under these subheadings.
So you see one thing interestingly.
So to turn this tag into an index, I add some subheadings. And then under these.
So he tried. So status child, tags learning, value of experience, date also is mentioned. I will say date is a very important thing. I like the fact he's putting date. It's amazing because then you will know when you took this thing how long ago and you will be able to visit it. It will be another achievement with your new this system you're putting it, right?
Subheadings. I link all of the notes that fit that category. The idea of the index is to add a basic level of structure to your notes so that if you want to visit the learning topic, you have some sort of entry point for the discussion. Now, I have a confession. I got a bit lazy and I didn't actually put all of the learning notes in this index. But once yours gets big enough, do have a go at keeping things neat. Don't be like me. Of course, if you're just setting up things now, you don't have to worry about this stage. It's just good to keep in mind for later on when you do have this problem. The fifth folder is called the template folder. This has one simple job and it stores...
So another interesting thing is like you guys can create like in your guide, you can say, okay, if my tag reaches, let's say 15 notes, right? I'll put it as an index. That'll be a very interesting one, right? So let's create the last, not last, but I think second last. Fifth one. What was it? I forgot already.
Do have this problem. The fifth folder is called the template folder.
Okay, fifth is template. Let's do that. I like templates. Makes life easy. If it is the same what I'm thinking. Templates. You guys are following, right? The pace is good. You want it faster, slower. What do you like?
Folder. This has one simple job and it stores the template for your main notes. Once we set this up later, you can totally forget about it, so don't worry. Folder number 6 is the workhorse of this entire system.
So main notes. Okay. Instead of full notes, I will create it as main notes. Main notes. Okay.
This is where your main notes go. Some people call this folder the Zettelkasten or atomic notes. The name is up to you. The point is this is where every single main note goes in one folder. Now it sounds weird to put every note in one place, but remember from before, the lack of folders is what keeps this system flexible and open to connection. Plus, as you add to this folder, you'll naturally begin to see different areas of interest form because of the links. Chaos.
So these indexes, like see the bigger of dot is, those are indexes and like how these are connected maybe because of the tag. This one might be a tag connected to others. So that's, and these are all together, but they don't connect to any of these guys.
You add to this folder, you'll naturally begin to see different areas of interest form because of the links. Chaos will slowly turn into order and you'll begin to see patterns in what you're reading. I know it's unlike most other systems, but if you trust the process, it's going to serve you well. So there's each folder covered. Once you set them up, with or without the optional ones, there's a few important settings we have to jig around with to make the process seamless, like butter. What? Butter's not seamless. First off, we go to Files and Links in the settings. Here we'll change the default location for new notes. You want to select the one that says in the folder specified below.
In the folder specified below, default location for our new notes, okay. What do you want?
Then in the drop-down menu, select your main notes folder, or whatever else you called it. Now my notes are kind of ugly, but if you want some more aesthetically pleasing ones, go to the appearance section in the settings and, have a play around with the themes. Next, we're going to set up some hot...
Beautiful. Like, so you guys can see themes and stuff, okay. Let's have a look. Appearances, where's appearance? Templates? No. Journal. Appearance, okay. Adaptive system, light, dark, theme. I like purple actually. So hopefully you guys can change it to yellow the way you like it. So advanced, we can change even like, where's the location? Icon, hardware acceleration. I will turn this off. I will turn this off for now. I'll relaunch later. Add aliases, community, turn on community plugins. Where's that thing where he mentions?
Go to the appearance section in the settings and, have a play around with the themes.
Okay. Themes, okay, manage. So this is the default one which creates manual. Okay. Maybe we can just, oh, Wasp. Oh, nice. I like this. So you guys can look at these themes as well. This is nice. And default location you guys can change. Manage. No.
Next, we're going to set up some hotkeys.
Have you looked at Wasp? Is it like, it looks sexy, right? It looked sexy.
To make your reading as rapid as possible.
I want to see one more thing. Like,
you want some more aesthetically pleasing ones. Go to the appearance section in the settings and, have a play around with the themes. Next, we're going to set up some hotkeys to make your reading as rapid as possible. We want to save all of our mental energy for writing, not for creating the note. To do this, you want to go to the hotkey section of the settings, search for template, and where it says insert template, add any hotkey convenient for you. Mine is Control-T, which works a charm. On Mac, this would...
Oh, okay, sure. I'll do the hotkey. Template, insert template. Control-T, I like Control-T because new tab, new, always. And let's look at the Wasp. Remind me, I want to look at the Wasp again.
Be Command-T.
You can see how many commands are added to. Nice.
Next, go to the core plugin section in the settings. These are like extra quirks you can add to Obsidian. Some of these are built into the app, but others are made by members of the community. In the core plugins, you want to turn on the templates. Now, there are a few others.
There is a Maldiv YouTuber called Custodian Cybersecurity. He uses that and I used it too. Good theme though. Okay. Yo, before we end, can you can I make a request? Can you remind me to look into this before we end the stream? I want to have a look into this for sure. I want to complete this and then look at that theme. That'll be nice.
Thank you. You can play around with, but for now, templates is all we need.
I would turn this one on too. Thank you so much.
Turn on the templates.
So we have templates. Let's look at templates. Core plugins. I'll just search. I like the fact we can search. Templates is on, which is good. Next, what he's...
Now, there are a few others you can play around with, but for now, templates...
Backlinks. Show links from other files to the current file. Backlinks can be shown in a separate view at the bottom of the node. Okay, sure. Let's see backlink. It's already on. Nice. You follow good security people. Yeah. I would love to know who's this Cosmos DM Cybersecurity. I would like to look his channel up. Nice. It'll be nice.
This is all we need. If you go to the community plugins section, you'll be greeted with this huge list of plugins to try, all made by Obsidian users.
I think there is a conflict with Control-T tab and templates. You can remove one, right? Yeah, you can remove one. 100%. Let's see. So if we are hotkeys, Control-T might be there. Control-W, Control. Control-Tab is this one. Control-T is this one. I think we should be good in this was. Because tab is like a new... Oh, there is it. Okay, template. Okay, you were right. And I see Control-T here. New tab and new template. So we just have to remove this one. Nice. Thanks for pointing that out first. Okay, nice. Oh, going back. Okay.
Section. You'll be greeted with this huge list
freeware
of plugins to try, all made by Obsidian users. You can overlook all of...
Oh, dude. This one. I will download this. Try on...
Greeted with this huge list of plugins to try, all made...
Auxiliary Draw. That's the one I use for drawing. His malware development really good, bro. Dude, I would love to try malware development. That malware development is one of the most interesting things, in my opinion, I want to try for a long time.
Made by Obsidian users. You can overlook all of these for now. You don't need any of them. But in case you're interested, I use two. I use one called Better Word Count to upgrade the word count feature, but also one called Smart Random Note because sometimes I like to be able to generate a random note. But to clarify, this is just my personal preference. You don't need them. And maybe after you've got into the flow of using this system, do have an explore and see if you can upgrade your process somehow. But
I will say Elixir Draw is one of the best ones, so you can draw whatever you are thinking and put it like the way I draw it in front of you guys. That's the same company and that's the same name too.
Be careful, because the power of this system is in its simplicity. If you add endless plugins, you might just overcomplicate the process and distract yourself from the real work. So just be wise in what you choose. There's a reason that after 9 months of use, I only have 2 installed. Do you remember the templates we messed around with earlier? Now you'll...
Yeah, it's mostly... One sec. Yeah, the most interesting thing, but once you get hooked into it, time flies, you wouldn't notice. Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Malware development is... And thing is like able to develop your own like either malware or just a malware detection system, such a beautiful, it's like able to develop your own desktop environment, right? Or your own terminal or your own command line text editor. Those type of things, if you say, bro, kudos to you for doing it, right? That's another thing I want to do always. Like I probably in my rough notes, one thing I can easily think is like projects I want to do in my life. I have a course I got on Malware Dev Academy. Oh, nice. Dude, we need to check it out then. Show me. I would love to buy one too then, if it is so good. Oh, we are reaching to the most replayed area. Okay.
See how useful process and distract.
I was studying for CEH version 13, then middle, I got it. Oh, nice. That's good. That'll be really good to look into. I would love to do that.
Yourself from the real work. So just be wise in what you choose. There's a reason that after 9 months of use, I only have 2 installed. Do you remember the templates we messed around with earlier? Now you'll see how useful they are in action. In the settings, go to the template section, and in the top part, select the folder that you created for your templates. If you now exit the settings and press Ctrl T or whichever hotkey you set up.
Okay, so let's do that. So if we go templates, where is templates? Templates, right? Date format, whatever. I think this is good. And if we do not Control P, Control T, type the name of the template. Oh, is that expensive? Oh, okay. I have like some from the Cyber Mentor TCM. I want to try their like Android one too. That's interesting. Yo, can you send me the name on Discord? I would love to try this guy. Or just send the link of the YouTube here. That'll be nice. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's nice to share other people's content and stuff. Nice.
For the template, it's going to bring up this menu. It's empty because we haven't yet created a template.
I took another ad. Have you done phishing attacks? It's just nice to try it out, right? I guess. His ads are all long. I guess we are going to look at it. And all of them are 2 ads. I have tried TCM files, free Telegram. Oh, nice. Nope, I have malware dev 1. I'll get phishing once I have some money. Oh, nice. That'll be nice. I recommended ZTM, Zero to Mastery. They have a whole career path. Oh, from TCM, right? Like Zero to Hero one? Bro, I started there too. I love that one. That one is such a good one. Such a good one. Okay, let's go back to here.
That you created for your templates. If you now exit the settings and press Ctrl T or whichever hotkey you set up for the template, it's going to bring up this menu. It's empty because we haven't yet created a template.
Creating a blank note in Do this by creating a blank note in your template. So main note.
This is called a template because with the click of a button, you can paste the contents onto an empty note. And this
So you will have the date, status, tags. That's interesting. Oh, look, a new note.
gives you some basic structure to work with. It lives in the templates folder. And because of the setting we changed earlier, Obsdian knows that this is the template. You can copy my template for now. At the top, you can see date and time in between the squiggly brackets. Now, I don't actually know the name.
Practical, I think you're hacking. Oh, yeah. Dude, like, TCM, such a good YouTuber, like, so much ad stuff. Yeah, Active Directory stuff, yeah. ZTM is actually a name of the person or like the course by TCM? I know Zero to Hero. Can you post the link for it? I would love to check them all out after this stream. It's nice to know like all this so many good free stuff out there. I don't have to go, right? It's a whole course on their website and stuff. That'll be nice. Oh, it's 12:15. Oh, dang. Please post it like in Discord somewhere, like in the resources. There is a place for resources, I guess. You guys can probably go. I think resources, if you can post here, that'll be great. Will be nice. Thank you so much.
Of those, but the point of them is that once you create a new note, the date and time will automatically go there. Below this is status and tag. This is where you add some important information for categorizing the note. You'll see this in a bit. It's super simple. Next, you have the title of the note. And once you type in the title, again, it's all that once you create a new note, the date.
We created a template. Like, hopefully you guys are able to follow, right? Or do you want some time for me to pause? But basically, we created the hotkey for the template. We created a template main note. And in his main note, like he did Control T now, main note, clicking that.
Time will automatically.
Here's a new note, so we changed that title, time, and date and time in the stack.
Go there. Below this is status and tag. This is where you add some important information for categorizing the note. You'll see this in a bit. It's super simple. Next, you have the title of the note. And once you type in the title, again, it's automatically going to be pasted here. To make it big and bold like you see here, you simply put a hashtag followed by a space. You can add multiple hashtags to make subheadings, and the more hashtags you add, the smaller the subheading will be. Under this, you want to leave some blank space so you can actually have room to write your notes. Then at the bottom, make a heading called reference. Here you're going to link to the source material, but also any other similar notes. From here,
that's nice. So like if I'm creating a talk about how to do Kernos attack, I can have like source material, various places I learned, and then create a proper playbook to do it. Yo, Rabbit, that's the one we were talking about, right? Like with your OSCP notes, if we like Active Directory is so nice to have those notes together. Maybe this will be helpful in the next exam and next cert, right?
The setup is complete, so well done. I haven't touched these settings since I began this system, so thankfully from here, it's a low maintenance process. Now let me walk you through the fun part, how you can actually write these notes. To create a new note, you press Ctrl O. Now this will bring up a menu, and in the search bar, you can type in the title of your note and then press Shift plus Enter to create it. The good thing about this menu is that it works as a search bar. So if you type in something and you have a similar note already created, it's going to pop up. For example, I might want to create a new note about purpose. And when I type in purpose, similar notes will come up. Anything with purpose in the title. This helps me avoid writing the same note twice, which does happen because you might write a note months in the past and completely forget about it.
Saving Active Directory. Dude, like I understand, right? Like we talked about this, there's so many commands to remember and like what every single one of them does. It's so interesting. So there, and even with the notes, I love this idea of like that this guy, like with this, we don't have to create the same note. We don't have to test the same topic. We can easily go over. Like I did a lot of learning like related to like React specifically or JS. So many times I repeated my stuff. Or even just like, you know, algorithms when I was preparing for interviews, so many times same things were repeated. Stupid. But now this will be helpful.
For example, I might want to create a new note about purpose. And when I type in purpose, similar notes will come up. Anything with purpose in the title. This helps me avoid writing the same note twice, which does happen because you might write a note months in the past and completely forget about it. If I have already written a note, I can simply jump back into it and maybe elaborate and add something. But of course, if the note doesn't exist, then congratulations, you made a new one. Once you create your new...
So like the same book or similar like articles.
But of course, if the note doesn't exist, then congratulations, you made a new one. Once you create your new note, it's going to be blank, and you want your template to be pasted on top of it. To do that, press Ctrl T, which is the hotkey for your template, and then you'll see the one you created pop up. Press that one.
Dude, that's so nice. So create a note and then do Ctrl T. It will bring it on top of it. That's so nice.
And within a second, this slaps some structure.
And also not running all commands at once. I don't know how that worked. Dude, that was hilarious. I was like, you were like so unhappy. You were crying every emoji of the crying one when I was like trying to run all the commands at once. You were like, it will reset, it will block, it will do this. And I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And it worked. That was just hilarious that it worked. We both were equally shocked, that's for sure.
Into your notes, and it sets you up for writing without hesitation. Now for the writing itself. You want your notes to be written in a way that serves you. The easiest way to show you this is to make a note myself from start to finish. Recently I read a book called Confessions of a Cartel Hitman. And yeah, it's not the most deep or insightful book, but I wanted to change the pace. I also love to study crime from an anthropology perspective. And of course, this guy is a cartel member. He had first-hand experience, which I found interesting. I have read this book, but now I'm in the note-taking stage where I run through the book again from start to finish, and I look for anywhere I took notes. I then give these notes a formal write-up to solidify them. To start off with, I make a new note in the source materials folder. I give it the title of the book. And of course, if it was an online source, I would add the link here too. This is a book, so there's no need for that. Whenever I encounter a note in the paperback, or maybe something I underlined that was interesting, I make sure to write the page number down, and maybe a relevant quote. Below this note, I then expand on the topic in my own words. I talk about my thoughts on it, maybe what it reminded me of, or even just explain it to myself in a way that I understand. Now it's so important to use your own words here, otherwise you risk falling into passive learning. Of course, it's easy to just copy the quote and move on, but because this is a quick process, you're not really forced to think about it. So if you want to remember more and actually understand what you read, it's best to take the time to flesh it out.
Every time I hit a bottleneck, I build a...
Well, have you heard about active learning and passive learning? On active note-taking, passive note-taking?
One system. It's called...
If you want to be the quote and move on, but because this is a quick process, you're not really forced to think about it. So if you want to remember more and actually understand what you read, it's best to take the time to flesh it out as you see it. This forces your mind to reflect, to think, and to truly dwell on the idea.
I never learned about it. Like, I don't know what's the difference between active learning. I know active voice, passive voice. I have no idea about active learning, passive learning. That's my peak English intelligence you guys can think of. That's my active passive right there. That's the most I know about.
My first note here, see it.
Oh, active reconnaissance and passive reconnaissance. That's also another thing I know. Active, passive, two things I know. Speech and this. Reconnaissance. That's it.
Remember more and actually understand what you read. It's best to take the time to flesh it out as you see it. This forces your mind to reflect, to think, and to truly dwell on the ideas. My first note here is about how Martin Corona, the author, felt extreme loyalty to his fellow gang members, even early on when he was on the streets. I have a page number, I have a quote, and below it I expanded on the idea. I explained how loyalty was the backbone of gang life, probably because it feels fulfilling to be part of this close-knit group. I carry on through the book repeating this process. Page number, quote, elaboration. Because I write a lot for each one, this is a time-consuming process. But, I'm okay with that. If it helps the ideas stick, I'm willing to make that sacrifice. Of course, you don't have to do the same. You can write as little as you want or as much as you want. Once I finish writing all the source material notes, I then create the full notes. Again, I start at the top, and I put a new tab to the side. By pressing Ctrl O, I bring...
I never knew we can split the view. This is so good to do. Ooh, nice. Dude, I do that all the time with like my coding. So this is so much nice. I love it. Right here, baby. I love it. And I can have same file twice open. That's so nice.
Little as you want or as much as you want. Once I finish writing all the source material notes, I then create the full notes. Again, I start at the top and I put a new tab to the side. By pressing Ctrl O, I bring up the search menu. I can then type in a new note and create it. I then press Ctrl T, which shows me the template. And of course
Okay, so he created source material, took notes as he's going through the book in the source material. Using that, he's going to create a full note or a full article.
I insert that. And there you go. There's the full note. The notes from the source material were in context, but these ones, the main notes, are not. This means they're independent from the source material and they're self-explanatory. Because of that one simple change, it almost standardizes them and it lets them connect to other notes freely. It also gives you a chance to talk about.
I love the fact like the only one I know is actively angry, passively angry is all I know. That's hilarious. Yeah, I know splitting works when you have a bigger monitor, otherwise just pain on your eyes. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. Splitting is like laptop is so hard to do, but if you have a monitor, especially like a 27-inch one, so much good. Okay, my OBS scene is ready. Nice. We got one. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. We got Idor to our club. Welcome to the club, buddy.
About the bigger picture. Once you write the notes in the source material, you can then ask yourself, so what? Why does this matter? What does this mean? So throughout the source note, I might see the same idea pop up again and again, and to me, that's something worth talking about. The main note gives me a chance to take all of that and wrap it up as a key idea or a key takeaway. I explained this process a little bit more in a past video, so I'll try and remember to link that here. For example, this note I've created says that criminal gangs are united by a deep sense of loyalty and belonging. Now, this makes no mention of Martin Corona, the cartel member, but what it does mention is the bigger picture. The thing I want to walk away with. Of course, you can reference people or events directly from the book, but be sure to explain it. Okay. You want to be able to return to these notes and
hold up, I want to understand his
doesn't mention is the bigger picture. The thing.
And I think the ad is about to start on Twitch, so if anybody sees ad and wants me to let me know, I will pause the video for a minute. I think the ad will be for a minute, so let me know, okay?
I want to walk away with. Of course, you can
so let's see. Okay, the first word is hard. Prometheus solved the existential. Dude, if you know, I need to improve my English if I want to be a streamer. But holy, Prometheus solved the existential dread of humans by giving blind hopefulness. Okay, baby status is baby and quote. So morality, geek, mythology, existential. Okay, ism. Holy, the word status, baby, and quote. I have zero understanding what that means.
Reference people or events directly from the book, but be sure to explain it. You want to be able to return to these notes and actually understand what's going on immediately. Let's now go through the notes from top to bottom. The status tag is not that important.
Okay, the ad has started, so let's wait for 30 seconds. Oh, I'm good. Thanks, man. Thank you. Dude, like, it's hard. English is the hardest subject as a kid I learned, man. You know, like, English is the one of those subjects. There is a reason I love telling people about my best of 4 from my high school. Not this. It's just so hard. Why would I learn grammar? I know Python. That's my grammar right there. That's so much easier. Python is so much easier than English. You don't have to be Shashi Tharoor of hackers. You guys will appreciate. That's where English I love. That's the place I love English. Okay, so let's go back.
On immediately. Let's explain it. You want to be able to return to these notes and actually understand what's going on immediately. Let's now go through the notes from top to bottom. The status tag is not that important, and honestly you can do without it. I will use it for 2 things. First, I'll either write #baby, #child, or #adult. This sounds weird, but all it means is how developed the note is. If the note is new, it's badly written and maybe unconnected, I'll write #baby, which tells me it's kind of in its young stage. Once I write more, edit the notes and connect it to other things, I can upgrade that status to child and then adult. All this does is help me know which notes maybe need more attention and more work. Again, this is a less important feature, so please feel free to remove it from your template. If the note contains a quote, I also like to put #quotes in this section. I love to use quotes in my writing because I feel like it's a punchy way to get your message forward. So by putting #quote, it just lets me find them more easily. Next comes the tag section. Now we've already talked about how to make tags.
Sorry, I was looking at something.
Because I feel like it's a punchy way to get your message forward. So by putting #quote, it just lets me find them more easily. Next comes the tag section. Now we've already talked about how to make tags, but I must confess this part can be tricky. For months I looked for advice on how to tag my notes properly. How specific should I be? How many tags should I add? Should I do it according to my interests or the subject? I had all these unanswered questions and I was lost for direction. I want you to avoid the same rabbit hole. So here are some pointers for effective tagging, ones that I learned the hard way. First, try to avoid tags that are too vague. Now, for example, I'm technically into self-improvement, but what does that even mean? It's such a vague idea. That could mean fitness, it could mean health, it could mean business, it could mean religion, it could mean all sorts of different things.
By drawing daily sketches, you can develop discipline.
So basically with the tagging, it has to be more granular. Just like when we are given roles in cybersecurity or like in tech industry, we are given roles of a not even developer or a employee. It is more like of a software developer, a front-end React developer, something like that. So when you're making notes on like React, it has to be React, not or in front end, not like just software development or websites.
Health, it could mean business, it could mean religion, it could mean all sorts of different things. If I showed you a note that said self-improvement, you can't really guess what's inside. Of course, you don't want it to be too precise either, otherwise you'll end up never using it again. You want it to be somewhere in the middle. When I feel the need to create a new tag, I ask myself a simple question. Will I ever use this tag again? Is there anything I might come across that will also have this tag? Another tip that has saved me so much irritation in tagging is to keep tags related to your interests rather than what other people will think is a common category. The most obvious tags will be things like fitness, sociology, maths, things like that. Now those make sense in the wider world, but this is your system, so the tag should serve you above all. For example, I have a tag called dangers to male-female relationships. Now this sounds quite weird. It's not a category of content you hear about every day. It may be a bit niche and precise, but it works for me because it's something I'm interested in. I know for a fact that I'm going to encounter more ideas that's going to be relevant to this topic, and this means that the tags are serving my interests and not necessarily what the rest of the world is thinking. Remember, this system is your second brain. It doesn't belong to anyone else. And that means the tag should serve you and you alone. In the early stage of this system, you're going to find yourself creating loads of new tags. But remember, after creating one and moving it to your tag section, you can infinitely reuse it. As you progress and you've covered most of your interests, things will calm down a little. For this note, I know I don't have to create many new tags. I've already talked about ideas similar to this, and the tags will already exist. So I apply the loyalty tag, I apply the meaning tag, and this is a good start, but I see something's missing. I haven't accounted for the criminal side of this tag. Now, I love to read about cartel history and maybe criminology in general. I know I'm going to encounter this idea again, so it makes sense to create a new tag for it. So maybe I'll create a new tag called cartels or criminal life. Something not too vague, but not too specific. Another common problem I have is that sometimes I forget tags exist, and I forget to use them where they should be used. Now, it's a real pain in the arse, but I found a workaround. What I do is I search for similar notes using the hyperlink function, and then I go into those notes and see what they have tagged. And sometimes this reminds me of a tag that I forgot about, and I can just reuse it in my new notes. The final nugget of tag advice is to not... Now, it's a real pain in the arse, but I found a workaround. What I do is I search for similar notes using the hyperlink function, and then I go...
So references, there is like hyperlink, and then you can look for the different notes at the very bottom of every note.
Into those notes and see what they have tagged. And sometimes this reminds me of a tag that I forgot about, and I can just reuse it in my new notes. The final nugget of tag advice is to not put too many down. You can add 6, 7, 8, but at that point, it starts to get confusing and messy. I aim to keep it below 4 and 5 most of the time, and you can't even go wrong with just one tag. Now we move to the bulk of the note itself. There's not much to say here. It's as simple as discussing the idea in order to better understand it yourself. It's an outlet for reflection almost. Because I've already written a lot in the source material note, I tend to just copy paste it sometimes. I then maybe expand upon it, edit the structure, improve upon it, and do all these things to make it as useful as possible for me. Or I can start from scratch and use the source material notes as inspiration. Most people write less in the source materials and then use this step for the full write-up. So it depends on what you prefer. I just like to write a lot because, as I said, it helps slow down the flow and helps me remember it better. The format of these notes is also your call. I love to write these notes as mini essays, which I talk about in an earlier video, so do check that out. But of course, if you feel like a single sentence is enough to capture the idea, go for it. You can use blunt, informative sentences. You can use a story to tell something. You can use a personal experience to make light of what you read. Literally anything goes, because remember, these are your notes, and you can do whatever you please. I'm not going to be assessing them like a teacher, and neither will anyone else. And speaking of mini essays, you're going to see some in my newsletter, so do be sure to subscribe with the link in the description. It's totally free, of course. With that said, I do have 2 small tips that help me keep my notes focused and free from clutter. First, I recommend that you keep these notes quite short so that you avoid turning them into this full-blown article or essay. You want to use these notes as tools for learning or maybe to write up something.
So maybe like in map, we can have just certain commands. Okay, these are good. We don't have to go over like every single flag and stuff, but like just main ones. That'd be nice. That's like a good one, right?
Don't really want the note to...
Am I getting it right? Like, let me know if that's like, I'm understanding it right?
Say. You want to use these notes as tools for learning or maybe to write up something. You don't really want the note to be the large writing project itself. This defeats the whole purpose of the note because it's no longer versatile. I recommend keeping them below 500 words. And as a rule of thumb, I try and write so that everything fits on the page without having to scroll down. It just keeps things focused and concise. The second tip is so important, and it's to keep each mini essay focused on a single idea. Again, you want your notes to be as clear and as flexible as possible. You want to be able to use them in all sorts of situations, whether that's writing something or maybe just to refresh your memory. If you create a complicated note that pulls together many different ideas, you end up with this messy jumble. And because it's short, you don't really have the time to flesh them out. It may feel insightful, but you may just be diluting the message and making it hard to understand what the note is about. Now, connections are great, don't get me wrong. It's great to mix and match ideas, but you should save this probably for a larger piece of writing, maybe a full-blown essay. There you have the room to expand upon these ideas and to really flesh them out and give them the attention they deserve. If you want to expand on a note in Obsidian, simply make a new one, and then write about the next idea there, and maybe connect it back using a link. It's the same end result, but by doing so you've kept your notes clear and flexible. Also, here's an underrated piece of advice. Format your notes so that they're easier to read. Trust me. Your future self doesn't want to revisit these notes and be met with this big fat ugly block of text. So try and include spaces between the lines at natural breakpoints. This keeps it easy to read and it takes less mental energy. And that leads us to the
bullet points so much bigger. A lot of people like, I don't know if you guys use it or not, but bullet points help me a big time.
Final stage, at last.
Images.
Referencing. At the bottom of the notes in the references section, I create hyperlinks to any notes that discuss similar ideas. I also like to link to the source material that the idea came from. In this case, it would be Confessions of a Cartel Hitman, the book, in the source materials folder. Again, this is easy to do. It's the same function as tagging. You press the square bracket button twice and then search for any notes that connect. And then you just press enter. The same problem happens with tagging though. You might forget about notes and forget to tag them. The easiest way to get around this is to look up keywords. And because those keywords probably exist in the title of the notes, you might end up stumbling upon ones that are relevant. To be extra sure I'm not missing anything, I might even go to the tags of the note. And at the bottom of the tag, you see all of the linked notes. And chances are something in there might be relevant enough to connect. And finally at the bottom, I link to the source material. This is just a handy way to know exactly where the idea came from. And if you ever want to revisit the source, you know where to find it. Without tagging the source note, you might have to end up scouring the internet to find where it came from. And of course, you don't want to be in that situation. I think that's everything. That's a long video, so thank you for watching. And the thing is with these setups is you can't mention everything. I know for a fact that I've missed some points.
Kind of. Yes, I feel the same way.
Points here. And I've missed some details and there will be questions. So, of course, the comments are open. My email's open. Feel free to... Hobbies, feel...
So, that was the video, right? Hopefully you guys liked it. Hopefully there was at least even something to take and use it for the rest of the life. Will be a big win for this reaction video or this analysis video, whatever this stream is. I don't know the name of the stream anymore. But hopefully you guys liked it. So tomorrow, I'm going to go tonight. I'm going to arrange certain things. I'm going to go over VASP. Let's go over VASP template. I remember, that's good. Okay. Oh my god. Oh my god. My first note, heading and stuff. Okay. This looks good. Check Discord. Okay. Oof. Oof. So sexy, bro. Hopefully my neighbors are not hearing me like saying oof, oof and so sexy. They might think I'm watching something adulterated. Holy, this is nice. Introduction authentication. Oh, nice. Bro, this looks so sexy though. This looks so sexy. Nice. And you got all your images. That's a good one to have. Nice. Hacker vibes, yeah. Purple. I like this. Image is also there, so we can put all the images and stuff, and then that's good. And you got all your stuff. Nice, bro. Sexy. Suxy. Suxy, actually. Suxy. Suxy. It's suxy. I like it. Thanks for sharing. Nice, bro. Dude, I'm going to. This is true. Dude, I'm going to try this. This is so good. Nice. This is such a good one. Such a good one. It looks so neat too. I love with the color. It looks so neat. Thank you so much. I think I'm going to download it. It's like, this is how I want it, right? Like, and there is calendar I would love to add, because how my world works is based on calendars as a working man. Man. Okay. Sweet. Dude, thank you so much. This is nice. You sold me. I sold you on Obsdian, you sold me on VAPS. Good deal. Yeah, lads. I think that was the stream. So, like, good stuff we covered today. GitHub themes are good too. Oh, okay. Yeah, I have to download this too. Auxiliary. I have to download this one too. I love drawing, so that's one thing I add. So I'm going to test certain themes to look. Panda. Not more sexy than something else like cars. Yeah, I guess so. Some cars are sexy too. So, yeah, I'll just put this here. I think it's much easier now, given we are at the end of the stream. Nice. Panda is right. Some cars are way more sexier. I will give you that, Panda. But yeah, lads. I have lame ass notes compared to you. Dude, I have lame ass notes too. So don't worry. We are all on the same page. Like, you have to see, right? Like, if my notes were not lame, I won't be watching this video, right? My notes are S. So hopefully you guys liked this video. It was interesting. We learned about certain search things, search skills for hacking. We learned how to take better notes and looked at some of the good themes like VAPs and some of the interesting plugins. Good chats too. Thank you so much, Sriram. Amazing. Idor, do you do YouTube videos? I would love to check. Oh, dude, I will love to subscribe. Whoever do Idor videos, right? I would love to subscribe and stuff, right? Like, it'd be nice. I'm already subscribed to Rabbit. Yeah. Oh no, I'll still subscribe. One day. Who knows? And what's the name of the guy you were saying? Custodian? Dian Malware? What was the name? Cybersecurity. Dude, Mad Hat is so nice too. Mad Hat is good. He's a good guy to talk to, honestly. Nice. Oh, do you do with AI? Nice. Let's check. Where is it? You have to tell me where the videos are made. Network Chunk is so good. Oh yeah. Network Chunk is a great one too. I do. Yeah. And I don't know if, can we do like raid on somebody who is like, I wanted to always try raid. Bit Ninja. Okay, let's see. Let me know if somebody you think is online. We can do that. Bit Ninja server security.
Every day, cyber threats are getting more sophisticated.
Nice. Server and website level security. That's good. Nice. That's crazy good, man. That's nice. This is your face? That's cool. No, wait. Is this? No, that's Bark somebody. That's nice. And what was the name of that guy you guys were mentioning about, like, the malware related stuff? I want to go up, maybe here somewhere. MD. I want to. Oh, here we go. Cosmodium cybersecurity. Okay. $31K subscribers. Nice. How hackers take notes, Obsdian and more. Oh, nice. So we can watch this too on Sunday, like just for chilling. How hackers take notes, portable executable. Nice, bro. Okay, you sold me. I'm sold. Easy to sell. Nick Swim hate me. Building offensive development library. Nice. Looks like, dude, this guy looks like G. Capture the flag. Nice. Latest. Wi-Fi pineapple malware analysis. Nice. Thank you. Nice. Oh, list goes on. That's not mine. Ah, nice. Dude, I have to. Yeah, no, I have to like look more. But thank you so much. This is so good. Thank you so much, everyone. This has been my best day of streaming so far. Like, so good messages, so many messages. It's amazing. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone. And is there like anyone you guys want me to do a raid on? Any young YouTuber, anyone who is like new, should we support before I end the stream? I would love to do that. I have never done raid though, so I don't know at all anything about them. I don't even know which one to use. Manage pool. Oh, raid channel. So smaller, similar or smaller size. Let's do that. Uptime. Somebody who has a good uptime and is also on YouTube. Following course of development AI agents, 108 bytes. Anybody you recommend? I have no idea, man. Let me put this here. Security people rarely go live. That's true. But I think there's still a lot of people do. But on both sides, yes, that's true. Like anyone who is following me as well? No. Same category. Being miserable coding AI alone day one. Okay, I have to go to this guy. The coding sloth. The coding. Oh, is he on YouTube? So let's select this guy for here and for YouTube. How do you raid on YouTube? How do we raid on YouTube? I have no idea. Raid on YouTube. Raid a channel. Eligibility, creator sending a redirect. Okay, I can't. Faster link, yeah. Customization, redirect. So I can't because I'm... Coding slot has 400... Oh, wow. Damn. Okay, let's see. First I have to go to my channel. YouTube Studios. Can I customize here? Maybe they might have added. I don't think he needs raid or he cares about raid or anything. General, no. I don't have any idea. Content live tab. The guy needs to raid this guy. Yeah, he does. He does need to raid me. Okay, I don't have anything for so Twitch. I will just raid this guy. Let's see.
Bro, I'm not even coding, man, right now. Okay.
The guy's first response is I'm not even coding.
Okay, buddy.
Let's see. Does he get any?
Okay, I'm back to coding. I'm back to coding.
Nice. Happy to make other people happy. Aranya is...
Oh, my bad.
Bro, I'm 6. Secret cabbage god. Oh. Oh, dude. You're ready. Oh, dude. Hopefully you get better, bud. Hopefully you get better.
If anyone knows anything about... if anyone knows anything about, AI, please help me. My tool call's not working at all.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious, bro. On the day first time I thought of raiding somebody, the first. That's hilarious, man. That's hilarious.
Let's go back to coding.
All the best, man. All the best. I just wanted to raid somebody. I thought, you know what? I will raid you. That's all I had in my mind. I raid somebody. That's nice, though. Hopefully things get better. Hopefully things get better for you, man. Let's search. I have no idea. Okay. But yeah, enjoy, man. We will talk more. We'll talk more one day. I have no idea if this guy's live on YouTube. Yeah, this is fun though. This is actually hilarious and fun to raid other people. If you're here, please read.
If you're here, please read the about me.
Sure.
I'm not a raider, bro. It's my own channel.
Sensitica says, "Cho."
Oh, that's not you. No, you don't read it. It's not for you.
Howdy, man. Howdy. Oh.
Secret Abigail God says, "Not for you."
Dude, I have no idea. I have no idea. No idea how raid works.
I'm like making an update here, to be fair.
No, for Windows evasion. Oh. But yeah, I'll go get some sleep. So hopefully you have a great day, man. Have a good one. Going to sleep.
Sensitica says, "Going to bed." Sensitica says, "All the best."
Thank you, man. Good night.
Good night.
Hi everyone. If you know anything about tool calling on LangGraph or like LLMs, please help me. My problem right now is basically I have a small
This is awesome.
I have a tool, right? And then
This is awesome. Good night, lads. I sorry I could not do it. I could not do it on YouTube because I think I need at least 1,000 subscribers to even able to raid. I'll try to see if I can. Oh wait, there might be here customization. No, I'm not able to raid anyone because I think I need 1,000 subscribers. But hopefully you guys enjoy. Have a great night. Thank you so much for joining. This is the guy that cannot be censored or stopped from spreading awareness about IT because I am the censored hacker. And that's not a good voice. But okay, thank you so much. Have a good one, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye. Bye, everyone. Good night. Have a good one.